He took your advice. Okay, we're gonna go to the next guest. Ooh, okay. This one's gonna be. There's one in the box that I know is a Trump supporter, but this guy's ahead of him in line. Hi, welcome up.
Hey, what's up?
How you
Can you
doing?
hear me? I'm not sure
Yes,
if my earphone's working. All right, cool.
you're good.
How you doing, man? I wanted to go over some of those lies and talk about that. If you just want to like start, I don't know if you have them like tagged or written down or
Uh,
what, but
yeah. Hold on. Let me see.
I didn't. I only caught like the last 10 minutes of the live, and I didn't catch any lies. I saw that you were counting, but I didn't see any of that. So
Yeah. All right. So the first lie he told was about jails and mental institutions being emptied out into our country. There's no evidence of that.
how
Completely
how
untrue.
is that a lie? That's true.
Where's the evidence of that?
Venezuela let out 10,000 criminals, and thousands of those criminals were in the first caravan to come into our country when Obama took his
Okay.
presidency.
What do
No,
you
I mean,
mean?
Biden.
What do you mean by Venezuela let out those criminals? Can you
Venezuela
explain?
let
I'll look
out,
it up. No,
cleared out prisons.
Venezuela empty prisons. Right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
emptied out prisons.
Okay.
Don't boo, vote.
Okay. Venezuela releases from prison some of the thousands detained after presidential elections. These were people that were detained because of rioting. These are not
Okay, but
violent
they were.
criminals.
Don't boo,
Isn't
vote.
rioting an act of violence? And a lot of times,
Do you
most times.
understand? Do you
Don't
understand the
boo,
spin
vote.
that you have to put on something? Here, I'll show it to chat real quick. Like it's
Yeah,
literally
where's the article at? I'd love to look at it.
ABC. I know it's the fake news media. Hold on.
No, I mean, I don't. I think all news is just based on opinion now, and far more than facts. I think news is
Okay, well, if something happens, right? Person A punches person B, right? And the news reports on it. That's not an opinion. You know that, right?
okay.
Hang on.
Yeah, but a lot of the way they present their stories are very opinionated. Just like I think how you say something is a lie is very opinionated. Criminals that were in jail did come to our country. Why they were in jail is why you're calling it a lie. You're saying it's not valid to call them criminals, but they were in jail. People went from jail in Venezuela to America. That's not a lie.
Okay, and what about the mental? What about the mental institutions? Where'd you get that one?
I don't know anything about mental patients
Don't
coming
boo,
here. I wouldn't
Yeah, because it's a
imagine
lie. Because
Venezuela
it's a lie.
has
That's
a
why you don't
ton
know
of
anything about
them.
it. Because it's a lie.
Okay. Okay, understood. So can let's go over another one. Give me another
Okay.
one.
All right. So second one was the worst crime is mostly in democratic states. That's not true. The worst crime is in
A majority of our crime is in Democratic run cities, like a massive
cities.
majority of it.
Cities, not
Yeah,
states.
and out of those cities, most of those are in Democrat run states as well.
No, that's not true. That's a lie. What you just said is a lie.
Okay. Okay, so let's go over the cities then. Most dangerous cities in the country. They
I'll pull.
start off
You know what?
with
I will pull it up for you. What?
pull up the list. Yeah, yeah. I know most of them from just off the dome, but I'll probably miss three of them. You're gonna have L.A. You're gonna have
All
LA's like top five.
right.
You got St.
Memphis,
Louis.
Tennessee, number one.
Oh yeah,
Red. St. Louis,
it is.
Missouri, number two. Red. Detroit, Michigan, number three. What do you want to count this as? It just
I
went
guess you
red.
counted it in the middle.
Sure.
It's been historically blue, right?
Okay,
So
let's call it blue because I think the governor's
call it
blue.
blue.
Let's call it blue.
Fair enough.
Birmingham, Alabama, red. Little Rock,
Ooh,
Arkansas,
very red.
red. New Orleans, Louisiana, red. Cleveland, Ohio, red. Kansas City, Missouri, red. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, red. But how many do I have to go? He said what? The
Where's
top
LA?
10?
Where's LA in this?
Where's LA?
Yeah,
Let's see. It's
and
not even on. It's
Sacramento.
not even in the top 20.
It's not even in the top 20 for murder. Are
Nope.
you fucking kidding me? That's shocking. I thought it was top five. I am
So
mistaken. Thanks.
first of all, that wasn't even the claim. The claim was most dangerous cities. I don't know
Most
if
yeah, well, it's states, most dangerous states, or more crime happens in blue states was the claim. Okay,
yeah.
so you just proved me wrong on that. I'm very shocked. I
Okay.
just assumed that most Democrat cities would be I thought that more crime happened in Democrat cities.
No, I totally get that, and that's because people like Donald Trump. Donald Trump has this thing where if he says something enough, people believe it, and so
Well,
like I
it's yeah, it's it's complacency and bias that just kind of works its way into both sides. I think a little bit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Can we
Okay,
keep going
so
through these
that's
lies? Like I just talk about lies, like because I
yeah,
think it's important that people know why they are a lie or
sure,
whatever. I
sure. Okay,
wasn't
so
there
do you
for
agree
it.
with the first two that we went over? Those were lies, right? You agree?
Um, the first one I think is like a half true, like a
There's no
little bit,
evidence
like
of the
it's
mental
back and
institutions
forth.
one.
The mental institution, but there is evidence of people that were in jails or let out of jails that directly came to America in the first.
Even okay, so directly we still have to claim that trail. But how is that? How is that a half truth?
Vote.
If he's saying that they're being emptied out from prisons and being sent to our country, that is not true. And the mental
No, but
institutions part is 100% not true. So I don't know how you would count that.
we did go over it. They did let people out of jails that were in the
After
caravan.
a riot, after a riot.
It doesn't matter why they were in jail. They were in jail, so that makes them. If you go to jail for something, you had to have done something wrong.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what happens to all people that riot here in our country.
Okay.
The last remaining ones all
We'll go
end
to the
up in
next
jail.
lie. We'll go to the next lie. Greatest economy. He said we had the greatest economy pre-COVID. That's not true. We've had several better economies. It was a good economy. It wasn't the
I
greatest.
definitely felt it was the best, and I saw it through all of my friends and family and the people around me. We had far
How
more
old are
success
you? How
and
old
much
are
more
you?
money. I'm 32 and I have a small business in San
Okay.
Diego, California.
You're
I do
32.
remodel
You're
work. Yeah.
32. Why are you going based off your personal experience when this country is older than 32?
But you're ignoring the part where I said everyone around me, my friends and family, everyone I knew had
None of
far
them
better
have
success.
none of them have lived for the full length of the United States. And also, it's not based on vibes. It's based on actual statistics. There are several economies that are better than this one, including Bill
Okay.
Clinton's economy.
Of course, Bill Clinton's the only president to hold
A
to
surplus.
not have a negative
So he's
what do
not
you
the
call
only
it?
president. He's the most recent president.
Vote.
But yeah,
To not go backwards or have debt.
yeah, he had a
Increase
surplus.
the debt.
Yeah. So okay, so you already agree. At least one is better than
Okay.
his pre-COVID economy. So he made it. He's lying. That's a lie.
Okay. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay.
Okay.
Noted. I appreciate it. I just want to go over it so I know what the lies
Sure,
are. That's
sure.
all.
If you want, we can go through all 77 now. And I know chat wanted that. And I'd like to know how many we'd have to go through before you go, damn, this guy is a lying sack of shit. Like, how many do you
I
think?
mean, if we went through him and I was proved that he
Don't
did lie in an interview
vote.
77 times, I would change my mind about being a Republican.
Okay.
It wouldn't make me a Democrat, but it would make me question how the fuck do they get away with being
I'm
so
blowing out my damn
corrupt
throat.
and lying to our face? And how
Okay.
did I believe the lies? How did the lies make me feel like they're not lies? Like I'm going over these lies with you. I thought they weren't, and you're making me out to like, oh shit, like you're making me realize that they are lies. It makes me angry, to be honest with you. I'm a
Okay.
prior Marine. I
Let's
served this country.
thank you for your service. You know what? We're gonna do it. You and me, we're gonna go through all 77 lies. Right now we went through four,
I
and
lobbied for it earlier when you put it on the panel. As like that's what we should talk about with the guests is the lies, so that we can educate and talk about it and go
perfect.
through them.
Okay.
And so you can maybe hold me on for a couple more, and then take someone else on, and I'll stay on and listen. And
well,
and
no,
listen.
I want you on until you convert. I want you on until you realize.
Until
Oh,
I
shit.
convert. Wow, you're a dedicated.
Well, you said
Come
if
on,
you
man.
go through this, right, and you
Yeah.
realize he lied 77 times, it'll change your worldview. Like you'll question whether
I
you're not.
wouldn't be able to support his campaign anymore now,
Okay.
or his
All right.
power.
So we went through four, and you've given me 3.5 out of the four.
I've given you 3.5. Yes,
Three
sir.
and a half. All right, here we go. Number 5. He said we had no inflation. That's not true.
I think we had a lot lower inflation.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 2 or 3%?
Right. That is
Um,
not no inflation. That's a lie.
There's never been no inflation. That's just a dumb thing to say.
It is a dumb thing to
Another
say.
lie.
Okay. Next, he said they as in Biden and Harris, created inflation with energy and spending too much.
That is a little bit of truth because of like shutting down the Keystone pipeline. All of the workers that lost
Okay.
their job with that. With
So
an immediate increase on gas.
really quickly on
Um,
that, the increase in gas price had nothing to do with the Keystone Pipeline, and let me tell you why. The Keystone Pipeline was a Canadian pipeline that was going to be transferred. First of all, it would have taken 10 years to complete, so it wouldn't have affected
Complete.
gas prices during Biden's administration anyway. And it transferred tar sands, not oil. But let's put that to the side. Gas went up because wait, where the did they take this article down? Hold on. In
No,
2020,
I would like to know why it did go up $1.50 right when he took office. Was it the COVID spending?
uh, I'll explain in 1 second. Normally I have this
The
article on.
rampant overspending on COVID definitely caused issues with inflation.
I think Reuters took the article down. Chat, the deep state. Trump 2020 oil. Okay, so normally I use this link right here, the Reuters link. I pulled this up for the past 90 nights, and I don't know. It looks like they took it down. It's just not loading. But either way, in 2020, um, I mean, we could go wherever you want. Center for Economic and Policy Research. We can go to New York Times. We can go to Climate Power. In 2020, when gas prices go archive.org it. Okay. It didn't
so
work.
we're trying to figure out why the gas actually went up, right? The truth of it.
Yeah. I'll just explain it to you, and you can research it on your own. In 2020,
Okay, yeah.
so because there was so little demand for oil, because of the pandemic, right? Nobody was flying
Yeah.
anywhere, and people weren't driving as much. The price of oil tanked, and gas, if you remember, was in the dollar range, like dollar and change. It was under
In
$2.
Alabama, it was $1.65 that
Yeah,
year. Yeah.
depending on the state, of course, but yeah, it was under $2. Now, the fossil fuel companies in this country, right, went to Donald Trump and said, "Hey, listen, you are friends with the guy in Saudi Arabia, MBS, right? You're friends with Putin. Can you do something about this? Because right now we're getting killed. The price of gas is too low. So rather than him putting the American people first and focusing on letting us pay low prices for gas,
Yeah.
the,
Which higher our standard of life. Exactly.
yeah, what he
Don't
did
move.
was
Vote.
he basically he threatened Saudi Arabia to decrease the production of oil. The deal would have been for 2 years, right? Decrease the production of oil to artificially inflate the price of gas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm gonna see if I can
intentionally
find
not
another.
refining oil to gas so that it caused the demand.
1 second.
Uh, okay.
All right, say that again.
So he intentionally in. I'm just confused a little bit. Like, can you explain that one more time?
Yeah,
He
the
did
article
what?
explained it so well. I don't know why it was
Oh
taken
man,
down.
I wish I could look it up.
Um, yeah. So he told Saudi Arabia to reduce the production of gas, to artificially increase the price of oil.
I'm listening. Sorry, my
Here we go.
dog's
Here we go.
yelling.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Ari tagged me in. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Ari tagged me in another article, but it's New York Times, and they're okay. Oil nations prodded by Trump reach deal to slash production. The deal will reduce output by 9.7 million barrels a day. Long story short, if you want to go pay for New York Times, it was a 2-year deal, and the
Okay.
reason oil went up, the reason price for gas went up. Copy paste. Oh, true.
I mean, I did an econ class in high school. I understand supply and demand
Wait, it was
well enough.
control A. Okay, we got it copied. The There's an AP article. Okay, I got it. Oof, let's go. All right, I got it in a Word document, chat. The deal would reduce output by 9.7 million barrels a day. While significant, the cut falls short of what is needed to bring oil production down in line with demand. So this deal lasts for 2 years, and we didn't really feel it until um, demand went back up. Demand went back up when we started to go back to work, when we started to travel again.
2020,
Yeah,
2021, yeah.
2021, 2022 especially was when we really started to open up. And that's why we felt it during Biden's administration. So him
Okay.
saying that inflation went up because of Biden and Harris's position on energy and spending too much, that's a lie, because energy went up because of Trump. And in terms of spending too much, if we want to talk about spending too much, Trump spent more. In fact, his COVID spending was more and his regular spending was more.
Okay. Okay, so you got me on another one. I guess
Okay.
let's keep it moving.
Yep. All right. So that was
I concede. Yeah.
number
Fuck
7 or
another
something
one.
like that. Okay, number 8. We're subsidizing Canada and Mexico. That is not what a trade deficit is. Having a trade deficit with Canada and Mexico is not subsidizing the country.
Okay.
Okay. Next one. Tariffs cost Americans nothing. He actually said that. I don't think I need to explain that to you.
Well, that pisses me off, but it's a lie that he doesn't have to lie. He could just tell the truth. I understand that there is going to be immediate negative impacts, but it's for a reason, though. Its intention is so that in the at later dates, we do bring the production of these products to our country so that we do create high-paying jobs here. That's the whole idea behind it. So that's just a pointless lie. I don't understand why you'd even
Yeah.
do that. If you just tell the truth
If only it were
of
so
what it's
simple.
supposed to do.
Yep.
Okay.
So the next one
It's
is
just
when line number 10. Line number 9. Tariffs are going to make our country safe. Unrelated topics. How are they going to make our country safe?
I don't know if that's a lie or just it just doesn't make sense. That's like it doesn't.
If anything, it's the opposite. Because if we're unable to get the rare earth mineral, so I don't know if you heard about this, but China, in response to these tariffs, is planning on banning rare earth mineral exports to the U.S. It's going to make us less safe, if anything. But anyway, next. Okay, so drugs. I'm not going to say that word for TikTok. I'm going to say illicit substances, okay? Or illegal substances.
Okay.
Okay, so he said illegal substances are pouring in 10 times as were during his administration. Completely false.
I don't even think it's possible to quantify a true number to that, other than, I guess, using FBI and DEA seizures and then comparing that to what it used to be. But it definitely has gone up, right? Can we agree it has gone up because of the amount of activity with the legal? I don't want to. How do you say it on a live without getting in trouble? Like
I can just say illegal substances is probably good. Yeah, I mean, I don't
like immigration with illegal immigration. I can say that, right?
Yeah,
like
you can say illegal immigration. Yeah.
Because millions of illegal
You're saying
immigrants
from like
came
smuggling.
across the border.
You're talking about like
Yeah, I
smuggling.
mean, it would make sense if millions of people have come across the border that they would have brought a lot more drugs and property with them.
You said the word, but it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, we can pull it up, but for the sake of getting through the 77 lies, you agree that 10x can't be true. So
I agree that it has to be impossible to be that big.
Yeah.
I would possibly say maybe a factor of 50%, 30%, but to say 1,000% is absolutely nuts. Pisses me off. We can go to the next one now.
Don't boo. Vote.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This is in terms of seizures.
Seizures for illegal.
Yeah. I'm trying to navigate this website without showing the bad words on my screen.
Dude, I'm really getting upset with how much like complacency. What's it called? It's called like complacent biasy, or like how much like
Complacency bias.
Yeah, or I guess I was in an echo chamber of what I thought was truth and reality, but we've only been on this for 10 minutes and we've already gone through 10 of these lies, or I'm at 9.5 being true lies. Like that just makes me I'm so upset, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. I did miss this. Thank you, Emmanuel, for the $5. Guest is completely ignoring Trump himself. Let thousands of Venezuelan people stay as he left because of actions towards them. I can pull that up as well.
Don't boo.
Trump,
Vote.
Venezuela. This was related to something we were talking about earlier. Trump grants Venezuelans temporary legal status on his way out. This was the last day of his presidency in 2021.
He did what? I missed it. I'm sorry. I was dealing with my dog.
Trump grants Venezuelans temporary legal status on his way out. This was the literal last day of his presidency in 2021.
He did that, but yet he's saying he's going to deport them all?
Yeah. Okay, so we did line number 10. Line number 11. So Trump said he was setting up a deal with China to where China would institute the death penalty for people that sell illegal substances. Does anyone remember this line?
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember him mentioning China having a big deal with the manufacturing of like fentanyl for sure. Yeah. And then using Mexico to go through Mexico to get it here, and it basically being like a terrorist long-term thing to destabilize the population of America. They did this. They did this heavily in
Yeah.
the
If you
UK
could
with
call it
the.
F substance or Fanta or something like
Oh,
that,
okay.
just for the sake of
With
the live.
the
Yeah.
H, with how do you say it? Like
Thank you.
um, Taron, tar. The opioid
Yeah, yeah,
wars
yeah. I
back in
know
the
what you're talking about. Yes,
1800s.
yes, yes.
Okay. So they've done this before, and that has been happening for sure. Uh,
Yeah, but the fact that he had a deal set up and then they didn't go through the deal with Biden is just it's fabricated. That's not true. That's not.
okay,
There was no deal.
okay.
Okay.
We're at 11.5 now.
Next
Yeah,
one.
moving
Yeah.
along.
11. All right. So number 12, California population is shrinking. That's demonstrably false. California population has not been shrinking.
I know for a fact San Diego County went down in population just last year.
Well, that's not
I
what he
thought over the
said.
last, I know, but California as a whole, I thought that is true that there was less people. That was a massive amount of people that left over the
People
last three
did
years
move.
and moved to Tennessee and Texas
A
and
lot of people moved to
Florida.
Texas and Florida, but California's population is not shrinking.
I
People
mean,
also moved to California.
Nashville's California population, just Nashville alone, went up 25,000 from California.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So next one. I mean, this one we fact checked in real time. I don't know if you watched the whole interview. Even the
I only
interviewer
caught the
fact checked it.
last
The
10, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. The interview even fact checked this one. When he said 13,000 murderers were released into our country, under under the Biden administration. I'll go over it for
Right.
those. We have a lot more people now. We have like 1,200 people. I'm gonna go over this for those that weren't here. Where is it? Okay, so he's getting this number from a letter.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Thank you so much, Nolan. He's getting this number from a letter that was from ICE, essentially, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is a letter sent to Congress. All right. Now, in the letter, it says that as of July 2024, there were 425,431 non-citizens with criminal convictions on ICE's not detained docket, a database of people facing deportation proceedings but who are not held in ICE custody. So, first of all, we got to talk about how this doesn't mean that they're free. They're out in the country. They could be in holding in state prisons. They could be in holding in federal prisons, awaiting deportation. Right?
Well,
None
I
of
mean,
this means
if they were red flagged as murderers, a majority of them would be in holding, right? They wouldn't just let them out into the
that's
public. That
that's
would be a
right.
denial.
That's right. And then, but here's the bigger part of the lie. The bigger part of the lie is that he said that this was under the Biden administration. So this is where the 13,000 number comes from. 13,000 were homicide, and then this is the rest of the 62,000 are assault, and then SA. But
Okay.
13,000 were homicide. That's where he gets the number. He said that this was under the Biden and Harris administration, but even in the letter, it says that it spans. The data goes back decades. It includes individuals who entered the country over the past 40 years or more. The vast majority of whose custody determination was made long before the Biden-Harris administration. Massive lie.
Yeah. So a factor of like only a few percent maybe of that are actually here in the country. That's insane.
Yeah. And so I counted this as two lies because he lied. She corrected him just like I did, but then he said, no, that's not true. He doubled down on it. That's two lies. I'm sorry.
That's such an opportunity to win people over too, if he would just be honest about it, right?
Yes, yes.
Because it's like, it's not even like, why lie about it? It's like, all right. Let's just keep
okay. So that was lie number 14. Lie number 15, Venezuelan prisons are at the lowest point in terms of emptiness. So first of all, the fact that his quote was the lowest point in terms of emptiness is hilarious. It's just like
what was that? Its lowest point? What
of
emptiness?
Venezuelan prison populations.
Okay.
It's just not true. And the sentence was also funny. He worded it like the standpoint of Waters quote. But yeah, okay. So
wow. Okay.
Lie number 16. Venezuelans are taking over apartment complexes. The interviewer corrected him on the interview. She said the local police said that's not true. That's not what's happening. And he doubles down again. He says, "No, I saw it." He saw it on X.com, right? So
So I saw a lot of like regular people that lived in Colorado
wall
that were
just
talking
got
about
10
the
feet taller.
gang population and activity that was affecting cities, but I never saw much like
it,
coverage of it in the news. It was only just from people on TikTok.
yeah, his claim was Venezuelan gangs, and yeah, like you said, it's mostly people on TikTok and X and stuff. Thank you for all the gifts. Let me put a little caption up for everybody. Um,
Come on, man.
are you cool if I somewhat use you for clickbait?
Me? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mind. No, you
It
can
just said
record her.
it says opening Trump voters' eyes in real time. How does that? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm absolutely cool with it. No
Okay.
problem.
All right. Cool. All right. So that was lie number 18. Oh, sorry, 17.
Just we're on 14. I thought, okay,
Come
yeah.
on,
Let's say,
man.
how did we get to 18?
Oh, so it was the 13,000 murders, and then he doubles down on it. That's 2. Then he said Venezuelan
Oh, that's right.
lowest point in terms of emptiness. That's 3. And then he
You're
doubled down
talking
on
about
the.
extreme.
Thank you so much. He doubled down on the taking over the apartment complexes thing. Okay, so we're on
Got
line number 18. He said that. He said that he said undocumented immigrants are costing us a fortune. Undocumented immigrants actually pay more into the tax coffer than they take out. So costing
So
us a
I
fortune
actually
is not
do
true.
know this to be true. One of my best friends is from Brazil. He came here on a soccer scholarship, got hurt. Then his student visa got, thrown out after he couldn't get back into school.
You think you just
So
fell out of
he
a
ended up
coconut
staying
tree?
because if he went back home, he'd be penalized. Like you can't come back to America for 10 years if you stay here past your visa. Like it was already too late for him to go home. So he's still here and he has a regular job at Texas Day Brazil and pays taxes, but gets no benefits out of those taxes. I really
You
hate
think
that
you
because
just
he
fell out of
uses
a
a fake
coconut tree?
identity, someone else's social to work. So he's paying into the taxes just like a regular citizen would, but gets zero tax returns, zero benefits at all. And that's how most people do it. They use a fake identity to work and get a paycheck, or they work under the table for cash and they don't pay into taxes except for like sales tax and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For products and goods. But is it not true that the government does assist a lot in public programs for illegal immigrants?
Off.
Thank you so much for the sunglasses.
Don't boo.
Yeah, they do assist. It's just the assistance is outweighed tremendously by the tax.
By the amount of money they're paying into taxes. Okay.
Exactly, through their ITINs or through sales tax or through any other. And also, yeah, thank you. It's state governments are mostly the ones.
Oh yeah, paying fees, gas, for driver's license, for speeding tickets, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So next one, line number 19. He said the GOP are open to the dreamers and the Democrats aren't. That's a lie, right? Like we know this. The DACA was passed under a Democratic administration. DACA is always Democrats always talk about defending DACA, not Republicans. Like I don't know where he got that from. Line number 20. We have the highest crime rate on earth. That's not true. Not by a long shot. I don't even think it's true if we only count G7 countries. But yeah. Next, line number 21. Oh, he said we had child separation under Obama. That's not true. Complete lie.
Child separation. What do you mean in terms of like the deportation and such?
Yeah, at the border, the no tolerance policy.
Okay, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. So. Well, do you remember like at the start of Trump's administration when the kids in cages?
There's a big thing with the kids in cages. Yeah. I remember the coverage of it.
And the argument was like, oh, Obama built those cages. Like, okay, yeah, but he wasn't putting kids in them. they weren't separating families. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit evil. Got it.
Yeah. Line number 22. This was a big one that I had to pause the video and fact check. He said if the country used paper ballots, elections would be done by 10 p.m. Like counting. Right now, 98% of ballots in this country are paper ballots. The only I'm just gonna move the text behind Chrome.
Wait a minute, maybe for this election, but the 2020 election wasn't like 20% of the total vote mail-in or more.
Mail-in are paper ballots.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
They are paper ballots.
So the only ballots that aren't paper are cast in the state of Louisiana, not a swing state anyway, 3 counties in Texas, and that's it.
Well, you do it digitally when you're deployed, but that's only a couple thousand, a few thousand, several thousand people at the moment. So
right. So this is a lie because right now, 98% of ballots are paper ballots, and elections aren't done by 10 p.m. like he's claiming.
I wouldn't have caught that as a lie. I would have just assumed it was true, but that's good to know.
Yeah, that's the problem with Trump. Like he shotguns out the lies, and some of them sound good. Some of them do sound like they're true.
Well, it's just like I think a lot of us are just fooled by like hopefulness. Like we're like so hopeful that it's like, oh yeah, like it's just the way he puts things. I guess like for people like me, like we're like we just want that to be the truth, but I'm getting literally like emotionally angry about the lies and going over them with you, like, and trying to figure out in my own head, like, what's the reason? Why would you don't have to do any of this, like, and I'm just now like having this realization of like why people were so angry that he was, that he won and stuff. Like, just didn't understand it at all.
Do you get the triggered libs now? Do you get why we were so?
Yes, I'm actually really am understanding a lot of the triggeredness and people that were upset. I'm actually upset now. I'm like upset. I still doesn't make me support the other side. I didn't like that candidate either. I caught tons of lies from her as well, but maybe some of those lies I need to go revise because maybe they weren't lies. I just assumed it was because.
Yeah, I mean we could probably talk about that after
your Kamala video. I was hoping that you posted it because you had mentioned it earlier that you had done one on her interview, and in my mind I was thinking like I would love to see how you avoid talking about her lies, but maybe you did her lies as well.
Yeah. So I don't know if I did a lie counter for the Brett Baer video, but I did a lie counter in the debate, and she did lie 7 times.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Thank you all for sending Chris some love. We did go over. Cool. We did have a lie counter in the debate, and she lied about like when her position changed on fracking. She lied about a few things. I think it was 7 lies in the debate, and then 60 told by Trump. So 7 to 60.
No, I mean, you're a politician. You got to lie a little bit to hold face. So I understand it. 6, 7, 10 even. I'd be way better with that. 77 in less than 77 minutes. Like that's over 1 lie per minute.
That's
that's like we're at like 1.25 lies a minute. Like that's enraging.
Yeah.
For any patriot that loves this country that wants to have a good leader.
They indicted me.
Thank you, Bubbles. Yeah, no, you being enraged is correct. You should be mad. And
I can't wait to go to my Republican friends and be like, "Yo, you're a dumbass." Like, I'm gonna put you on to all of my friends and be like, "Yo, go take a listen to this guy," because you put it in a way that's not so smug that like I was able to really like just listen and sit and listen. I just pulled up at my house on the mountain and I was pulling some tools out of my truck from work and I was like, man, let me listen to you because you come to my For You page often, like a lot. TikTok has pushed you my way. I guess it knew I needed you or something. I was like, hey, man, take a look at this. I'm very, very fortunate that you've let me on and everything. I've requested before, haven't never made it on. Because I was triggered by things that I thought you were lying about. That now I'm like, well, I got to go look at what I think is real or not because of my bias has made me think that lies were truth. And so I'm very confused. We can keep going now. We've taken a sidebar.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of like the condescending thing, I mean, I do.
The wall just got 10 feet taller.
Thank you so much.
Blowing out my damn throat.
Thank you all so much. I really tried to just match energy. That's my big thing.
Yeah.
You came up here very clearly, in good faith. So I'm showing you respect. You might see some clips of me being condescending or being aggressive, but usually,
you think you just fell out of a coconut tree,
or someone being condescending? Yeah. I think that's how I am too.
The wall just got 10 feet taller.
Who I'm conversating with for sure.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I mean, and we're human. That's.
All right, get him the hell out of here.
Wait, Kira, you're trying to kick Chris?
You want to kick me? We're having a good time here.
Okay,
we're getting a lot of love from the chat here.
Yeah, no. Chat loves an open-minded person.
I think you're gonna have me by like lie 25. I'm already gonna be converted, brother. I'm like, I'm not even.
The wall just got 10 feet taller.
Thank you, Poo Poo. I'm gonna lower the sound. Excuse me, the sound volume. It's a little bit louder today.
And you'll for sure get like 5 or 10 other conversions. We may not convert to Democrat, but we'll definitely have to think about libertarian votes or something. I think we need more parties in our government, more options.
Yeah.
It's really hard for all people to just lean one way or the other. I think you can take a lot. I take a lot out of both sides, especially living in California. I've been very enlightened to like being, it's like super tolerant to like outside ideas that I grew up with in Alabama. Like the LGBTQ community is not very large in Huntsville, Alabama. Very coveted in San Diego. So,
okay, just real quick, Kira.
I've already been in the middle. You know what I mean? So
nobody, jump at Kira. She didn't realize that the boxing gloves and the keys had switched, so she didn't mean to kick. She does not want to kick you. She just sent you 5 Obamas. But anyway, okay. Where were we? Oh, okay. Lie number 23. This is another massive lie. He said we're the only country on Earth that has birthright citizenship. That's not true.
I know that off the top of my head. There's several countries with birthright citizenship.
According to CIA.gov, at least 37 more countries have birthright citizenship.
Oh wow, that many! I thought it was like maybe a dozen. Okay.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull that up. I had that one pulled up because it was just such a bold-faced lie. Yeah, the CIA.gov. This is their breakdown of countries and their citizenship laws. So it goes citizenship by birth, citizenship by descent only, dual citizenship recognized, and residency requirements. All I did was I control F citizenship by birth, yes, and we have 38 results.
Okay. So, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay, so that was number 23. He doubles down on it. That's 24. He said he can go around the 14th Amendment with an executive order. That's not true. That's not how executive orders work. That's not how the Constitution works.
Yeah, I think amendments are protected by executive order, right? Like against executive order anyway. Okay. That's a dangerous
this one was a little
well.
This one was a little silly, but he did say, and he did say, I know more about judges than any person in history.
That's probably not a good thing. Is that a lie or just something stupid to say? That's just something stupid to say, right? Because it's not a good thing to know judges. That means you were in court a lot for things that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was what he was referring to, but yeah, either way, we count it as a lie because it was just so ridiculous. But okay, lie number 27. He said Obamacare is lousy healthcare. Obamacare isn't. It's not health. It's not like, oh, I signed up for Obamacare. Oh, it's bad. Obamacare is a marketplace, right? It's a system that allows multiple different healthcare providers to essentially list their programs on the marketplace. So if Obamacare is lousy healthcare, that's because healthcare is lousy healthcare in this country. It has nothing to do with Obamacare.
That's a fact. I totally agree with. Healthcare is just really terrible, and we could do way better in this country with healthcare for how rich we are.
Yeah, no.
We're like 33rd in the world for life expectancy, and first in spending for chronic disease. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Also, and I know this is anecdotal, but there's people in chat, and myself included. I am on Obamacare. Technically, I have a plan through the healthcare marketplace, and I don't think it's lousy healthcare. I mean,
so the only experience I have with it in my personal life I would speak on is that I've been penalized ever since Obamacare started for not having healthcare because I make too much to have Obamacare. I make too much to get it.
Well, you make too much to get the subsidy, you mean?
Well, yeah. They won't approve me for Obamacare because of my income.
Yeah, no, you can still apply for. You can still use the healthcare marketplace. All Obamacare does is it subsidizes it for people that don't make enough.
But why does Obamacare? That's where the fine comes from. I pay
it was. I think it was $700 a year,
right? I was $800 for me. So I think it's based on your income what the fine or fee is. In fact, but I get fined every year when I pay my taxes though for not having health.
Well, you shouldn't be anymore because they got rid of the penalty.
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't filed for the last 3 years. I need to catch up.
Anyway. Okay, so
someone's totally reporting me to that.
Here's another.
Poorly educated.
Thank you, Bubbles. Okay, here's another silly lie. He said, call it whatever you want. It has like 20 names, referring to Obamacare. Obamacare has 2 names. Obamacare, Affordable Care Act. What are the other 18 names?
And what is it?
Affordable Care Act. The official name is Affordable Care Act. Colloquially, we call it Obamacare. What are the other 18 names?
Okay, and if it was so bad, then why didn't he do something about it when he was in office? He kept it the same,
well,
right?
he did try to
put money into it.
Oh my god, this topic triggers me so much because of what he says about it. We're about to get to it. Okay, so he said we made it as good as we can make it. The only thing he did in regards to Obamacare was try to repeal it with no replacement intact, which would have thrown millions of people off their health care, right? The only thing he did was try to repeal it, and when that didn't work, he tried to have the court strike it down, right? And when that didn't work, he got the courts to strike down the individual mandate. So they got rid of the individual mandate. Now that is good. Okay. That is good for some healthy people, right? If you're young and healthy and you didn't plan on having health care, that's technically good. You save a little bit on your taxes, but that makes Obamacare worse because there's a smaller pool, which raises the price for everybody in Obamacare. So it's actually the opposite of what he said.
So they were using those fees for the people who. So they were using those fees for Obamacare patients, and so it's taking money out of their budget.
The goal with the fees is to incentivize young healthy people to get Obamacare, right?
Okay.
Obamacare is actually it's a really interesting when done correctly, which not all the states did, but basically what Obamacare did was it set a level where if you make this amount of money or higher, but up to like from let's say from 10K a year to 40K a year, you get subsidies that scale down. So you get a big subsidy if you only make 10K, you get a little subsidy if you make 40K, and then you get no subsidies over that. That's just a total example, right?
Subsidies that means like healthcare. You don't get any healthcare.
No, subsidies as
I make 175K, so they won't even let me get it. Like they will not provide me Obamacare.
I don't know what you mean by provide you Obamacare.
Like Obamacare is not a healthcare option for me because I make 175,000.
Have you gone to the healthcare marketplace?
I haven't done it since 2019.
Okay, well that's what you have to do. You have to apply every year in November.
I mean, I'll look into it again, but I was denied last time for my income when I did it last time.
Well, I'm pretty sure you were probably just denied for the subsidies. I don't know how they could deny you from the coverage. They're just healthcare. They're healthcare plans that you can even go through without Obamacare. Oh, by the way, open enrollment is still open for the next 4 days until the 15th. If you want to try to apply, it does not take that long. It's like 20 minutes. Anyway, regardless. So that's the subsidies. The other thing Obamacare did was, if you made below this number, you would get Medicaid, right? Which is what in a lot of states poor people get, right? Now, Obamacare provided federal funds to states to raise their Medicaid bar to the subsidy line, so that everyone below, let's say 10K, for example, gets Medicaid. Everyone from 10K to 40K gets subsidies, and then everyone over that, do whatever you want. Now, a lot of states refuse that funding because they didn't want to sign off on Obama as a person, right? These are states like Florida and Georgia. They refused that funding. And then people started to fall into what was called the Medicaid gap, which meant that you made too much money to qualify for Medicaid because they didn't raise the ceiling, but too little money to qualify for subsidies. So you actually have to pay more than people that make more than you. This was a lot of Republican states, not all. The credit where credit's due. The governor of Ohio was like, "Why wouldn't we take this money?" He's a Republican, Mike DeWine. Why wouldn't we take this money? It's for Ohio citizens. Governor of Florida, fucking Skeletor, Rick Scott, doesn't care about Florida citizens. The governor of Georgia at the time didn't care about Florida citizens. So just examples. Anyway, so there's that part of Obamacare, and then there's the individual mandate, which basically says everyone because of all of this, because it's going to be so cheap for everyone, everyone should get a plan. Everyone should try to get covered, and if you're not, there's a tax penalty, the $700, $800, whatever, and that would go to help cover those subsidies, right? The goal was to get everyone in America covered, and if you're poor enough, you won't pay a lot to get covered. That was the goal. Now, the best thing would have been if there was a public option, which is healthcare provided from the state, because we'd be paying the taxpayer would be paying way less for that. Joe Lieberman was a Democrat that didn't agree with the public option. He was the 60th vote, and he voted against it, and that's why we don't have a public option to this day because of Joe Lieberman. Anyway, sorry, Obamacare tangent. Here we go. Line number 30. He said, if Obamacare was successfully overturned, so basically he was blaming John McCain. If Obamacare was successfully overturned, we would have had the best healthcare. There's no evidence of that. Why would we have better healthcare if Obamacare was overturned? People would have been kicked off of their healthcare. The same plans would have existed, but they'd be more expensive. And he had no replacement. And he even agrees that there's no replacement when she asks him later. He doubles down on the concept of a plan thing. I think we get there. Actually, no, technically we don't get there because that was a question he didn't lie. Concepts of a plan. He doubled down on it. I don't know if you watched the interview. She said, the question was, so you said in the debate that you had concepts of a plan. Are you ready to reveal that you had a plan? He said, yeah. Well, we have concepts. He doubled down on it, and I couldn't fathom that anyone watched that and was like, yeah, I'm happy I voted for this man. Okay. Anyway. So, line number 31. He said, I saved Obamacare. Totally the opposite of truth. Then when she replied to I saved Obamacare with, well, you tried to have it struck down. And he said, well, I tried to have it struck down legally, but I saved it physically. What? What does that mean? Okay. Number 33. Fuck, I didn't write the context of this one. I'm gonna have to go back into it was at the end of the Medicare argument. I just wrote all in caps because of me. I was so triggered by the end of the healthcare thing. All right, we won't count that one. All right, so number 33, he said, I don't know anyone not singing his praises, talking about Kash Patel. Kash Patel is widely criticized for being for not only being extremely biased, but for having a hit list of people he wants to go after when he's head of the FBI. The fact that he says he doesn't know anyone not singing his praises, just not true. Next.
Okay.
Number 34. They went after me and I did nothing wrong. He did a lot of things wrong. I don't know if you need me to go through them, but he tried to pressure Mike Pence to pick fake electors at the certification process, which would be defrauding the United States of America. He was under federal indictment for it. He was convicted of 34 felonies in the state of New York for falsifying business documents to influence an election. He was found civilly liable for sexually assaulting a woman. This is all stuff he's done. The idea that he said he did nothing wrong. Come on. Next. Biden was the most corrupt president in history. Even if we agree that Biden's corrupt, that's not true. That's not true. Ulysses S. Grant literally gave out, and by the way, Grant actually wasn't even that bad of a president, but he gave out cabinet positions to just like his close family and friends. There were a ton of other more corrupt.
Talk about Nixon and
Nixon. For those that don't know what Watergate was pretty wild.
Pretty intense. Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, Watergate was they broke into a hotel room to steal documents from the Democratic Party to try to get intel. Thank you for the naughty chicken. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Emmanuel for $2. Kash Patel wrote a children's book praising Trump as king. Very disturbing. Yeah. Okay. Next.
Okay,
line number 37. Trump said he won most of the cases. This is not true. This is not. He didn't win any of the cases. The only case that the only case you can maybe give the argument for was the civil fraud case in New York because they got rid of the judgment, the financial judgment, but he didn't win the felony case in New York, 34 felonies. He didn't win the civil case in New York for sexually assaulting E. Jean Carroll. The case in Florida was dropped because of Judge Cannon. The case in the federal case, excuse me. I'm so sorry, guys. I've been talking too long. My brain's starting to melt. The federal case, the Jack Smith case, was only dropped because he won the election. It would not have been dropped otherwise. And that leads into the next slide where he
falls under some kind of immunity, right? Or protections.
It's a ongoing Department of Justice policy that they don't indict sitting presidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did the people allow protections against the president so that they could get away with potential treason?
Wait, can you say that again?
Who let someone allow for a law to be made that protects a president from committing treason or being corrupt?
Oh, well, okay, so
people.
Technically, I don't think he's protected from treason.
Okay.
But he was so the charges were count 1 was defrauding the United States. Count 2 was obstructing an official proceeding. Count 3 was obstruction of I'll just pull it up. I thought I could do it off the top of my head. Proceeding.
Isn't there one in there too that was had something to do with using campaign funds illegally to pay off someone?
Yeah, no, he's already that one's in the books. He is convicted of that. He is currently a felon. That one's done.
So from the bias that our side believes is that it was a misdemeanor that was like somehow changed by a judge to a felony. It's not a true felony, and they also say that it was like outside of the
statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations as well. And this is what my side like kind of just breathes at you, or that's what they repeat to each other, or what we've repeated to each other so that we believed it, was that it wasn't that big of a deal. It's not an actual felony. It was just from arrangement syndrome that was creating this ability to change misdemeanors to felonies magically and make one thing 31 things in the court of law.
So this is what actually happened. So falsifying business documents is a misdemeanor. However, falsifying business documents to influence an election is a felony in the state of New York.
What documents was he trying to? What documents did he falsify to? I have never connected that to what it had to do with presidency.
Okay, so he slept with Stormy Daniels, a porn star, when Melania had a newborn baby at home, right?
Yep.
He didn't want that story to drop before the 2016 election. So he instructed his lawyer, Michael Cohen, to pay off Stormy Daniels. This is technically not illegal. Just so we're clear. I don't think paying off porn stars is illegal. The reason it's illegal is because they falsified those payments. They lied about
to hide it. Okay.
To hide it.
Okay.
And because it was to influence an election, it is a felony in the state of New York.
I kind of understand trying to clean your jacket up and protecting yourself, and but like also I understand why that's against the law. But I don't also understand why you would want to do it.
Yeah.
To an extent, like as a politician, you don't want that being found
out. Okay, so where were we? Okay, lie number 38. He repeats the lie about the prisons and mental institutions. If you want to count that as 0.5, then I guess you can do with that what you will. Lie number 39. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna cling to the half lie, dude. I mean, you're making a really solid play here at me, bro. I don't think I can allow to call myself a Republican anymore. I'm gonna have to go down to the courthouse and change my
real quick.
Party.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for $5. Hoover and the eugenic program was also insane. Oh yeah, Herbert Hoover was something else. And thank you, Ella, for $2. Trump's mother probably had to think of other babies when she breastfed.
Wow.
Okay. Line number 39.
They're eating the dogs.
Thank you. Line number 39. He said he's never seen Project 2025, but he agrees with it. He agrees with some of it. How can you agree with some of it if you've never seen it? Line number 40, he doubles down on that. Line number 41. I guess he triples down. Oh, we can take that one off if we want. It says, I don't know what it is in regards to Project 2025. I mean, that's kind of an exaggeration.
I mean, he's got room to take off, I believe, 9 and still be at 1 lie per minute.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Get some room here.
Let me. Yeah, I kept having to update the because of how many lies there were. I kept having to add the questions asked, questions answered, and lies told thing over and over and over again because it kept scrolling down. There is a way, Excel users, Excel enjoyers. I know there's a way to lock the top 3 rows, but in the heat of the heat of battle, I couldn't figure it out. Okay, next lie. 40. Where are we? Lie number 43. He said the Georgia case against him, the Fonnie Willis case, was a total hoax. No, it wasn't. We heard him on tape say, "I just want you to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have," referring to the 2020 election. We're actually going to play that for chat. We haven't played that in a while because the election ended, but let me see if I can find just the soundbite real quick.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Yeah, not a hoax. The fact that he called the Secretary of State and asked him that is so out of pocket. Okay, line number 44. He said all the cases have been discredited. That's not true. The only reason they're being dropped is because he won the election. Line number 45. Again, he said I won almost all the cases. Not even close to true. Line number 46. He said Biden got.
Can you repeat that? What'd you say?
Line number 45. He said he won almost all the cases. That's not true.
Yeah, we just went over that.
Yeah. Line number 46. He said Biden got the Justice Department to go after him. That's not true. Line number 47.
Why did they go after him so hard, though, after being president? No other president's ever been gone after they left office. You know, I mean, we've had a lot of presidents just do some obvious bullshit to the country, you know, Bush being one of them. The lies about weapons of mass destruction was a total lie. We know that now. That's a factual lie. The whole war on the Middle East was trumped up by lies. And a million Iraqis died from it. So it's like they didn't go after Bush from that, which is a tragic issue.
Couple things.
Okay.
One, the statement is that Biden had the Justice Department go after him, and that's not true. Biden appointed.
So then who got them to go after him then? Because he did have several different judges and complaints coming after him as soon as he left office and had to fight him.
Oh, wait. You know what? Because they couldn't go after him while he was in office because of what we just talked about.
Okay.
It's not a Biden.
Well, the protections for the president came after he left office. That was put into place during Biden's presidency.
No. Oh, okay. You're conflating two issues. There is the Department of Justice rule that says you can't indict a sitting president. The thing you're talking about is the Supreme Court ruling, which happened under the Biden administration. Supreme Court ruling, which was that presidents are immune from prosecution for official acts, even if they're crimes.
For official acts, correct. Yeah. It's like, so if you commit like a war crime by doing an official act that was supported by, I guess, his cabinet, like a certain, I would say, like drone strike that may later be frowned upon, you're protected against options like that, right?
Potentially, if it's determined to be an official act. Now, the worst part of this ruling is that in the concurring decision by Roberts, he literally says this would also stop Congress from investigating to see if it was an official act. That's what's so troubling about that ruling. But that has nothing to do with why they didn't go quote unquote go after him while he was in while he was in the presidency. It's the difference between being able to be prosecuted versus being able to be prosecuted at that time.
Okay. I guess I'll count it as a lie as you do, because there's no way to prove at all that Biden was the cause of all of this attention from the Justice Department. Okay. Noted.
Yeah. And then he also, so live 47, he said that the state cases were being run by the Department of Justice. That is not true. I don't know where this conspiracy theory came from. He started talking about how there was a top agent in the Department of Justice resigned and then started working for Letitia James and then started working for the district attorney. It's a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some kernel of truth at the start of it, but there's just no evidence that the Department of Justice is helping the states run those cases. That's not how that works. Okay. Line number 49. This one he tells a lot. He said the January 6th unselect committee, because he's a third grader, the January 6th committee deleted all of the evidence that they found. It's not true. There's no evidence of this. I can't even Google this because it's just not a thing. It's like he made up a new thing. There's nothing
about that, but I wrote it down so I could look into it.
I'm sorry?
I don't know anything about that. I've never heard anything about that, but I wrote it down just to be able to look.
Okay. I am probably going to put this in my link tree at the end of the day. The Excel document, or I'll turn it into a PDF and put it in my link tree so everyone can review it afterwards, because obviously not everyone's watching at the moment.
Hey, do you have a quick question before we move forward? Do you have that recording of you doing the Kamala interview? I want to see how you cover that stuff too. I'm not. If you've already converted me, I'm definitely have to call I can't support Trump anymore. Still gonna call myself a Republican because of my values kind of align that way. I'm religious, from Alabama. I'm a small business owner. Believe in Jesus. That's just, I guess, what I've been taught to be as a Republican. But I don't support Trump anymore. He's a complete liar. He's trash. I was very much bamboozled. I was totally biased in this echo chamber. I thought you guys were so freaking wrong. I would hear things that we're talking about right now and be physically upset, be like, "You full of shit," like whatever. I thought you guys were biased in echo chamber. I would see your videos and just skip it immediately because you were always supporting Kamala.
Kamala.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah. One of my mods just let me know to pass on to you. There's a website called MediaBiasFactCheck.com where you can plug in the source and see, first of all, how often they tell the truth. So there's like levels to how factual they are, and then also see where they lean, left or right.
Okay.
Yeah. In regards to what you said about you're not going to call yourself a Trump supporter, but you're going to call yourself a Republican because you're a Christian. We can have that conversation on another day. Because personally, I think if you follow the teachings of Christ, you'd probably be more of a Democrat, more of a Bernie Sanders Democrat. But that's a conversation for another day.
Well, to add into my values, so you understand a little bit better. I mean, I own guns. I was in the military. If I have more than my underwear on, I've got my clock on me. Everywhere I go, I am absolutely strapped. I believe in that to my core. It's like my biggest belief is the Second Amendment. And I think there should be no sanctions against what I should be able to have a tank parked in my driveway. I should be able to have whatever I want to war against the government. That is what it's there for.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that your rights can't be impeached by the government.
Well, drop a follow, and then we can have that conversation.
Definitely followed you like an hour ago.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Let's finish up the lie list here. Damn, you know what's so crazy? I almost picked a different guest over you because I knew that guest was a Trump supporter and they were going to be content, but I was like, this guy was first in line.
I was the first. Yeah, I absolutely requested right when you allowed it. Like I was the very first. I was a little bit mad that you didn't pick me first. I was like, I thought maybe you had seen a lot of my negative comments before and noticed my profile picture and was just like, nah, screw this guy.
No, TikTok sometimes registers it a little bit late. So there was like one person ahead of you, and then I picked them first. But yeah. Okay, we are. Oh, someone said almost 60K followers. Hey, if you're not following, we're going through all 77 of Trump's lies during the interview. We watched the interview. It was an hour and 17 minutes. We listened to it mostly because TikTok doesn't like us watching. But we listened to it. We went through it. We commented on it. There was memes. There was joking. It's a fun time. It's informative. It gets the people going. All that stuff. If you're not following, now's your time. If we can get to 60K tonight, that'd be super, super awesome. Thank you all so much. Which interview? 3 days ago, Trump did an interview with Meet the Press, NBC. Okay, cool.
Does that mean that you gained 60,000 followers since doing this live?
Not 60,000. Wait, your mic is starting to gargle.
I'm sorry. Did you say you gained 60,000 or you hit 60,000?
No, we're about to hit 60,000.
Oh, okay.
No, gaining 60,000 would be fucking wild in one night.
Don't boo.
Although I'm pretty sure Dean gained more than that after his Jubilee appearance, but that's a story for another day. Okay. Cool. Next, what are we on? We just did live 49, live 50. Pelosi turned down 10,000 troops. I'm pretty sure he means Mayor Bowser when he says that. I don't know where he's getting Pelosi in that. That's not the correct conspiracy theory.
I mean, what do you think about Pelosi and the, claims against her and insider trading and the massive amount of money she's acquired while being in power?
I think that members of Congress and the Senate should not be able to trade stocks.
I agree. So we both agree on that. That's okay. Wow.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm telling you, when people come in with open minds, liberals and conservatives actually agree on a lot.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I see that.
We don't like big corporations, usually.
So do we both agree that we want less power in government and more power to the people then?
I am only for less power.
Belief of Republicans.
I am only for less power to the government as long as it doesn't give more power to corporations. I would be for less power in the government. The problem is when we start to reduce government power, two things happen. Either corporations gain more power or we lose rights. right? So like,
what it seems like to me over the last 2 decades, both corporations and government have done nothing but outgrow the people's power and take power from the people. I mean, in the last 30 years, we've had what, like 500 new laws made? I mean, how many of those laws incriminate people's rights? I would say quite a few.
I mean, I think a lot of that is hyperbole in terms of how many laws incriminate people's rights. A lot of a lot of what Trump rags on is regulations, and a lot of regulations are good for us. You know, regulating to make sure that they're not poisoning our rivers and our food. And
so, but the thing with regulation is that regulation to me and to like people that think like me is that the regulations are corrupted. Like the FDA allows poison in our foods that are not allowed in any other country. Like in a lot of our grocery store food has ingredients that like no other like first world country allows in their food products, and we have the highest rate of chronic disease in the world.
yeah, so
That's gotta be directly linked
that stuff
to
is
our
that
food.
stuff is a bit exaggerated from RFK talk. It's a bit exaggerated, but there are things that you said are true, and the issue with that is essentially lobbyists. The issue with that is that a lot of members of Congress do not represent the people, and they represent their lobbyists. They represent people that are donating to their campaigns, and a big reason why that this is happened so much is because of the overturn of Citizens United by the conservative Supreme Court, which allowed corporations to contribute to political campaigns as if they were people. So,
Yeah, so we both agree that there should be no lobbyists. There should be much less money in campaigning.
I don't know about no lobbyists, but just the way things are structured. Yeah, much less money in campaigning. I think we should go back to public funding of campaigns.
I would say give them both the same amount of taxpayer dollars. Give them both 100 milli. That's all you get. Do what you can with that, and that's all you get. That should be plenty to campaign off of.
Well, how are you gonna? The problem is like, how are you gonna run in the primary then?
Well, primary, you got to raise your own money, but in the actual presidential race, you just get a cap. You get a certain amount, but you don't get all these donations because these donations require favors. And, in retrospect to the,
you know what? This is an interesting idea. I've never thought of this, so I'm not going to say if I agree or not, because usually if I get an idea I've never had before, I'm going to take some time to think about it. That is an interesting idea. Okay, shout out to Emmanuel for $1. If guest wants better food quality, we'd need more regulations. EU countries have far more regulations on their food than we do. Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. Okay, we're getting.
I don't know that we need more regulation, just honest regulation. Why can't they just not put the poison in the food? It's just like the regulation is not regulating correctly. It's just like the people who are making these decisions are making the wrong damn ones. So put someone in there that'll make the right choices.
Yeah, that all stems from the funding of our elections and all that. But yeah, all right, we're gonna like I said, the thing about the poison stuff is hyperbolic. This is a conversation for another day as well. We have 2 conversations on the docket for the future. Okay, really quick. Someone said, "Is the Cash App back up?" No, I actually just got an email from them today from the appeal, and they said you can go fuck yourself. I don't know what I did wrong. I think it might have been that one comment that said someone sent me $1 on Cash App and said this is for the piss baby with the humiliation kink. She was talking about the guest, but I guess they think that I'm some kind of sex worker, and that's against TOS. That's the only thing I can think of. Venmo is still working. I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna have to sign up for PayPal. Again, nobody has to send anything. Just if you could just follow, that's all. Obviously, I appreciate everyone who's tapping the screen. Even if you're not tapping the screen and you're just doing laundry, just being here, following, and hanging out, totally cool. Okay. Yeah, I might have to start an OnlyDance. All right. Anyway, we're gonna go to the next lie. Line number 51. Oh, line number 51 and 52 are. He doubles and triples down on the lie, even when the interviewer pushed back that there's no evidence that the committee deleted all of their evidence. He doubles and triples back on that. Line number 53. He said, "What happened to Ray Epps?" And then he said, "I don't know anything about Ray Epps." Ray Epps is a January 6th conspiracy theory. him saying what happened to Ray Epps is implying that he knows what the theory is, who Ray Epps is, and then he said he doesn't know anything about Ray Epps. So,
can you remind me or educate me who Ray Epps was?
Ray Epps was a dude at January 6th.
Was he the guy wearing the like lion mane or whatever?
No. I don't remember what that guy's name was.
He was a guy that our side claimed was a DEA agent or director, right?
Yeah,
FBI, I believe.
No, it wasn't that guy. So Ray Epps was a dude that before January 6th was. Oh, thank you for the bubblegum. Before January 6th was like posting videos about Wait, did I block the right person? Hold on, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. He was posting videos about we need to storm the Capitol, blah blah blah. January 5th, yeah. January 5th, he was posting videos about needing to storm the Capitol. January 6th, he was like, he was on a speakerphone, hyping people up. But then there's like a video of him like telling people don't be violent or something like that. But like the video was him whispering it. If you go down the rabbit hole, it's a conspiracy theory. Basically, they're saying that he was an agitator, either Antifa or DEA or whatever you said. And yeah, it's a whole rabbit hole. But anyway.
So can I tell you what my side believes about the January 6th?
I did everything right, and they indicted me.
Thank you, truly. Sorry, I missed the lip syncing. Yeah, go ahead and tell me.
So what I've always believed, or what I thought was reality, was that like it was kind of instigated by the left and plotted to kind of like smear Trump's legacy or name and kind of ensure that he wouldn't be able to come back to office, and that the police were intentionally told to like allow them into the Capitol building, and also that Pelosi turned down Trump's request for National Guard presence at the rally or at the event. So that's what I've always told. That's what I've always been told or taught. That was my biasy, but I'm gonna have to look into this whole thing, look into everything like with a whole new lens.
Yeah, January 6th is a whole bucket of worms.
Yeah, I've always thought it was just a bunch of crap, the whole January 6th thing. But now I got to re-educate myself on everything and try to have a new look on things.
Let me ask you something. It didn't come up in this interview. Do you know what the fake elector plot is?
So the fake elector plot, I've never really much listened to or looked into it because I've just thought that the whole idea of January 6th being an insurrection, being a load of crap, to be honest with you.
Right. So basically, the stuff that was
the media framed the 6 deaths of 6 different officers in a really like lopsided way, that it was like at the cost of violence from the protesters, but like 3 out of the 6 deaths were like heart attacks or like health related injuries from exertion, from working, just on like a regular day. Like people die on their job. So I thought it was just like really inflated, opinionated coverage from the media. Just threw me off, made me not trust anything I heard about it. Anyway.
Got you. I'm not going to speak on those because that's another big rabbit hole, because first of all, there was a ton of injured officers, and even if 3 of the 6 did unalive because of the action on January 6th, that's still 3 too many. But
yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
So the big thing about January 6th, and the reason, believe it or not, today's the 90th night that I've gone live doing these political streams. The reason I started back on night 1 was because of the fake elector plot. I couldn't believe how bad the media, how bad of a job the media had done covering the fake elector plot. I couldn't believe how many of my peers had never even heard of it, and it kind of sounds like you also aren't familiar with it, right? Because the media covered January 6th because they like making money, right? The January 6th was a money-making event. They can cover the violence and the breaking the windows and all that stuff for a while. The part that was the coup was what was happening behind the scenes. So what they were there for, right? When they were chanting hang Mike Pence after Trump tweeted Pence didn't do the right thing? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So the right thing Pence was supposed to do was one of 2 options. Option A, pick fake electors, which Trump and his lawyers had gathered from the 7 swing states. So these are not the duly elected electors. These are random Trump supporters that forged government documents. Many of them are serving jail time because of this. Option A was Pence picks those electors from the 7 swing states, declares Donald Trump the winner, because the vice president has the ceremonial duty to actually certify the election on January 6th. Option B, which was the more likely option, and this was the option that Pence considered, but ultimately he put his country ahead of Donald Trump. He put his duty to the Constitution ahead of Donald Trump. Option B was he looks at the slates of electors, says, oh, there's too many slates of electors from these 7 states, so I can't certify this election, which means it goes back to the state delegations. Republicans, each state delegation gets 1 vote. Republicans control 26 state delegations, which is the majority, because 50 states. And that would have been another way that Trump would have remained in office. So the option A or option B. Both of these would have broken Pence's duty to the Constitution. Even Trump says in his own tweet that he felt that the Constitution could have been, you're a Constitution fan. If you go to line 3 there, a massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Trump was ready to put himself ahead of the Constitution. Pence said as much in an interview after he said, the president wanted to put me ahead of the Constitution, and someone that puts themselves ahead of the Constitution should not be president. There's a reason 40 of the 44 members of Trump's cabinet did not endorse him this time. So, yeah, the fake elector plot, which is what he was under federal indictment for, count 1, defrauding the United States. I pulled it up and I didn't read it, did I? Count 1, conspiracy to defraud the United States. Count 2, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. Count 3, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding. Count 4, conspiracy against rights. This, to me, was my number 1 issue. Number 1, ahead of everything else. The oversight of Roe v. Wade was a massive issue for me. Gun violence, I know we disagree on this, I'm sure, but gun violence is a massive issue for me. Healthcare is a massive issue. It wasn't a big issue in this election, but it's a big issue overall. But my number 1 issue, the reason I started these lives, was I felt like I was being gaslit by reality, that nobody knew about the fake elector plot. I just couldn't fathom it. And it's all the evidence is out there. No, Donald Trump doesn't even, his defense isn't even that he didn't do these things. His defense isn't that these things didn't happen. Or that these things aren't crimes. His defense is, I need full and complete immunity. When Rudy Giuliani went to defend himself, he said his defense was, I have the First Amendment right to lie, in terms of all of the lies they told about the election being stolen. They lost 64 of 64 court cases.
Do what he claimed the other side did by stealing the election. So he wanted to do what? So he gaslit half the country.
Every accusation is a confession. Yes.
That the left stole the election by doing what he actually was trying to do. Okay, that's really enraging as well. That really pisses me off.
Yep. His other lawyer, so Rudy Giuliani said that.
Don't boo.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Thank you. So Rudy Giuliani said his defense was he has the First Amendment right to lie. Thank you for the little crown. His other lawyer, Sidney Powell, said that no reasonable person would believe what I'm saying. This is their defenses, because they recognize that they did this. They recognize that they got these false slates of electors. They recognize that they lied and fabricated evidence. That all of this is out in the open. This is all available.
If it's out in the open, why do people ignore that? Why did I not know about that? I mean, I don't understand, man.
I don't know. This is
I don't know how that truth hasn't come across my FYP. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, this is why I started these lives. Obviously, I've expanded to other politics as I learned more. I learned more about women's rights and Roe v. Wade and the Equal Rights Amendment. Like, I'm learning more as I'm going through these. So I'm talking about foreign policy. I'm talking about all this stuff. But the main reason I started was I want to teach TikTok about the fake elector plot. And 90 nights later, and I didn't used to have gray hairs here. I didn't. Jack, can you see this? Okay.
So, can I ask you, how many times have you done this? How many times have you converted a full-blooded, Trump supporter into, absolutely hating his guts?
Converted a full-blooded Trump supporter? Less than 10. But
less than 10.
But people that...
how long have you been doing this? You got 60,000 followers. I mean, people watch you a lot.
Night 90. This is night 90. Less than 10 have been...
3 months. Okay, wow.
Less than 10
I would
have been...
guess you would have had a lot more success at it, man. You're really good at holding my curiosity and explaining things in a really unencumbering, like rude way. Like I really appreciate it, honestly. I've been on other lives before with like Harry Sisson and this other young kid. I think his name's Dean. I think you mentioned him.
Yeah.
I've been in their lives before, and they just absolutely like just showed me utter disrespect and contempt, and like laughing at me and my responses and what I was believing and telling them. Like they just gave me zero respect. They belittled me, and so I just didn't like go into any lives ever since,
Yeah,
I lost interest in even listening.
I definitely can't speak to them, and I also don't really want to give my full opinions on each of them.
No, yeah, I totally
individually.
get it. I
But
understand.
I mentioned it to you before. I match energy. You come up with an open mind and respectful, I'm gonna treat you with respect. So in terms of so I did wanna toot my own horn a little bit, even though it's under 10 full converts from like Trump supporters. We had dozens of people that either didn't know who they wanted to vote for, that decided to vote against Trump. People who were leaning Trump, but weren't Trump supporters, that decided to vote for Kamala. We had people that had never voted before that we brought to the side of truth. Obviously, there's stuff to disagree with on my side as well, but in terms of just how dangerous Trump was as a candidate. So we have dozens of people like that. But in terms of people that come up, I'm a Trump supporter, and then by the end, they're like, I'm voting for Kamala. Less than 10. I would say probably around 8 would be my guess.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm sure people have watched you. That's probably the 8 you can confirm. I would say you could tack on 5 times that just by people who didn't get the opportunity to tell you that, hey, I've learned some truths. I was able to look at things with a different lens, because that's what you allowed me to do. You said something that I thought, I caught a couple of the lies at the very end there. Like I think I came in at like 65 or something like that. Is where you were at, and so I caught a couple of them, and you looked them up in real time. You paused, and I was like, "Holy shit!" He really did just lie, like straight up.
Yeah.
And I've seen these videos where they like fact check his lies, and I've always just had this bias that made me not believe the fact check. Like I was like, no, like y'all are wrong.
Yeah.
You really created this space where I was like, oh man, like I just like had a enlightening moment, like just like wow, I felt the R word, I felt really dumb.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think if you now that you're a fan, when you start watching these lives in the future, I think you'll see why there are so few converts.
Yeah.
Really, really not a lot of open-mindedness from Trump supporters in the same way that you came in with an open mind here. And and yeah, I mean it's super refreshing. Chat obviously agrees. They're all typing W guess, W's in the chat. When you got 2,500 coins from people that appreciate you as a guest, so
yeah, I've never I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know what that meant. I've never seen that before. This is like the 4th time I've ever been in a live discussion. I was actually super nervous when you picked me. It's like took me a minute to like calm down.
Yeah, I mean I was super live. Super live. I was super nervous the first couple times I joined as a guest as well. Okay.
And you had like 1,000-something people watching too and commenting and listening to my statements, which it made me nervous, but now I'm pretty calm. So
yeah,
let's finish up the lie list, man.
Yes, just really quick, shout out to Robert for $1. Can you mention to the current guest about the negative things Trump has said about military members? Do you want me to go into that, or?
I mean, I'd be curious to like. I've heard that claim before. My side believes it was debunked. That he said that military is for suckers or losers.
So
I've seen a video where a Republican supporter debunked it, showed the entire conversation. It did seem kind of clipped up,
Yeah. The fact of the matter is the actual specific claim, the suckers and losers thing, it's being made by 4-star General John Kelly. And
correct.
It's being debunked by Donald Trump. So like technically, there's no way to know for sure, but there's no reason to not believe John Kelly, and there's a lot of reasons to not believe Trump. In terms of the videos we're referring to, I think that's about a different claim, because the suckers and losers thing was a closed door conversation. That is not something that a video exists of.
I think the video that I'm referring to is where the press secretary is asked about it, and like she answered the questions, and then like how that was kind of clipped up was made to get this like big following behind him saying it, was because it was a conversation at the press secretary interview or whatever that they have every day. So that was the video I remember looking at, where they were breaking it down or trying to show my side that it was a fake statement.
Yeah, but that, I mean, that's not even. Let's look at the stuff that we know is the case.
Okay.
Right? We know that he made a TikTok ad in what was the section of Arlington? Can someone remind me? The section of Arlington that you're not allowed to campaign in, right? He filmed a TikTok ad in that section.
I think going to visit one of the families, some of the families from the 13,
Section
right?
60. Thank you. Yeah. So that's one. Then this, I have this on speed dial. This right here.
He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero. 5.5 years. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
That's so disrespectful to say
Was he
about
talking about
John McCain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, he was an actual POW for real though. Like
Yes.
held in POW camps, like probably tortured.
No, not probably. He couldn't. Obviously, he's passed away. But he couldn't raise his arms above his shoulders because of the torture.
So that's a so he was tortured at
he was tortured.
Encampment. Wow.
Yeah. And he's saying he's not a war hero because he was captured. And that's an old clip. So you got to be deep in the echo old, as in 2015.
I would say being captured and making it home alive makes you like the most war hero. Like outside of dying for your country, that's like right up there with like top 5 things you can do for your country. So
yeah. So like this was, when I say old, I mean it was before his first term. So this was like 2015. But if you haven't heard it, either you're super young or you're really in that echo chamber, because that clip is, yeah.
I've definitely seen it, but I did not believe it. I thought it was just, it was just one of those things I looked over as a biased lens I was looking through. So
yeah,
I was really stuck in what I thought was the right thing. I was made to believe that Kamala was the evil option and evil choice, and was going to continue to. How do you say it? Let me get it right.
It's like comma, like the punctuation, and then la, Kamala.
Kamala. And Trump supporters call her Kamala. It's Kamala. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, the worst ones call her like Camilla or other things like that.
Absolutely no respect, right? Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to be rude. Got it.
The people that mispronounce it intentionally are the annoying ones. Just calling her Kamala because you don't know, I think is okay. But like once you learn and you still, But
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're on live. Where were we? We're on live 50. Okay, we're on live 55.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Thank you. He said they don't know what the old woman did. The old woman that went into the Capitol. That's not true. They don't know what she did. Complete lie.
Don't move. Vote.
Line number 56. He said they unalived people in Portland and Seattle.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
In terms of the riots. Thank you for the hand hearts.
Well, I mean, there was hundreds of deaths in the Summer of Love, right? Like in all of the riots from that.
Hundreds is not true. We're talking
I thought it was
under 10.
Really?
Yes. There was not.
Thanks, Obama.
There was under 10.
I feel kind of snubbed on that. Could we double check that? Like the Summer of Love only a dozen or less? Like that seems off to me. I think it's in the hundreds. I mean, and just the one that the white kid that got off on that murder, like there was like 7 in that one alone.
Oh, Rittenhouse?
Rittenhouse, yeah, that one. The one where he killed 2 people, right? Or no, he shot 2 people, killed 1?
No, he shot 3 people, killed 2.
Oh, wow. Got off on 2 killings. That's insane.
Yeah. So this is The Guardian, and it goes over where these people have died. At least 11 Americans have been killed while participating in political demonstrations this year, and another 14 have died in other incidents linked to political unrest, according to the new data from nonprofit monitoring political unrest in the United States. None of these people killed during protests were demonstrators taking part in the Black Lives Matter protests. 2 were conservatives killed after pro-Trump Patriot rallies. All but 1 were killed by fellow civilians. And this is the data itself that we can look at as well. But I don't know where hundreds came from.
That's what I was indoctrinated to believe. That's what our side was preaching at us. That's what I believed. So I'm just trying to give you like, I guess like
yeah, 19. I mean, I know there's Wikipedia, but we can go to their source. It says 19 total. Over 17,000 arrested.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And this is over the course of 2 years, by the way. This isn't just the summer. This is from 2020 to 2022. Anything related to George Floyd.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Lie number 57. He said the entire city burned down. Obviously, that's an exaggeration. About
It was
Minneapolis.
just like it was like a bank and I think a
police,
car dealership, a couple houses.
a police station.
Yeah, that
as
was kind
well.
of messed up. You shouldn't probably light police stations on fire.
Yeah,
That's a little
probably
crazy.
not. Lie 58 was he said nothing happened to the people that lit the police station on fire. We literally pulled that up during the interview right here. Man sentenced to 4 years for Minneapolis police station fire. Like, it's just a bold-faced lie, complete lie.
Yeah. This is the one where I came into the live. This was the one that first caught my eye, and I started to get into the conversation.
Next. Lie number 59. He said police were saying come on in. So I know what he's referencing, man, because I had to
There's a
debate.
video where a cop was like moving a divider and just like
Yes.
ushering in people, like literally with his hand, like, come on.
So what that is it's called something. Can someone tell me what the phrase is? Basically, it's during a riot, right? When police are outnumbered, riot control. Thank you. You need to lead them into places that are safer than where they would be otherwise, right? So the people that were like in this motion, they're leading them away from lawmakers.
They're steering the
Yes.
mob
In terms
where
of
they
the
want it to go.
in terms of the things being left open. This is already after the Proud Boys broke into the Capitol. Containment, corralling a herd, all the.
Literally, I have education on this. I have training on this from when I was in the Marine Corps. I did some of this in MARSOC. That's insane to actually recall. Like now, like that actually makes sense. I hadn't even thought about that. Like it was a tactful decision to go ahead and break that side of the crowd up. Okay, understood. Because they came into the Capitol from several different locations.
Okay, someone was asking me. Yes, that's correct. Someone was asking me if the guy who burned down the police station was a Boogaloo Boy. It says a member of the Boogaloo Boys, a right-wing group intent on capitalizing on chaos and starting the next American Civil War, has also been charged with assisting in the damage to the precinct that night. But it's not the person that was convicted of 4 years. Well, let's see who the person was. Not that it matters, but
Man, changing my opinion, like realizing that was a containment, tactful decision for corralling the herd, like completely changes my whole outlook on that day.
yeah.
Just that one statement.
Did you see the video of the officer that led them away from lawmakers? Like, there's literally, we see lawmakers running, and he led them to a different hallway. Have you seen that one? I think he got a medal for that.
But they used the footage as a way to like bias my side as like, oh no, they were welcomed into the Capitol. They didn't break in.
The Tucker Carlson footage was so disingenuously edited, and it essentially was propaganda. Like, frankly, because when we look at all the footage, they very clearly broke in. The first people to get into the Capitol was the Proud Boys, stole a riot shield, broke a window with the riot shield.
Yeah.
This is all. Yeah. We know this. We have this information.
The video I saw, they were breaking the window with a flagpole. Actually,
I think that wasn't the first window. The very first window was riot shield. But yeah, they broke a lot of windows.
Yeah. Look, I don't support vandalizing our property. I literally don't. I mean, yeah, I think it's okay to like peacefully protest, but yeah, there should never be like threats of violence on anyone.
Yeah. Okay. So, lie number 60. He said they don't want to release the tapes. That's not true. They've released a bunch of the tapes. There's no one preventing tapes from being released. I think we have the most comprehensive tapes have been released by. Someone remind me who released like the full tapes, not the Tucker Carlson tapes, the full tapes. But anyway, okay. Line number 61 was the stats about autism were incorrect. How he said 20 years ago it was 1 in 100,000. The J6 committee, thank you, 1 in 100,000, and now it's 1 in 100. Not only
it's not 1 in 100, is it? That's insane.
Yeah, both of those stats are incorrect. That he's saying.
There's not even 1 in 100 diabetics, I would guess. Like, that's insane.
Lie number 62. He said there's middlemen in the healthcare industry, and we don't even know who they are. We know who the middlemen are. They're insurance companies. Line number 63. The fact that there's any link from vaccines to autism. Line number 64.
Don't boo.
Can I
Vote.
say something about that though?
Yeah.
Do you question it at all that it's like totally fine to ingest babies with like 70 plus vaccines before they're toddlers? Like, how many vaccines do toddlers get? I'm not even sure it's of the fact of it, but I know it's a ton. Like, I mean, do you think that's technically safe, or that we could be doing a little bit of testing or like maybe studies on it to make sure that we're doing the right thing? 'Cause I do think maybe there's a lack of regulation in this.
We do studies. That's the thing.
Okay.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not doing my due diligence then on my part.
Yeah, like I said, that the whole conversation, I really need to do an RFK day, a full day of deep diving into all of his claims, because a lot of people do come up that are RFK fans, and I didn't do enough. I had a lot of research on Trump, obviously, and Kamala. I didn't do a lot of RFK research, and he's going to be a part of our government. So one of these days, I'm going to do like a research live just for RFK. And,
Yeah, what did they give him? Health secretary or something?
yeah, head of the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS.
Health and Human Services. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and there's also some weird facts about RFK, like he dragged a dead bear into the woods, or his ex-wife unalived herself because he told her he was cheating on her. There's a lot of weird facts as well, besides the like vaccine.
You know, I've intentionally not looked into him so much because I really can't stand to listen to him talk. It's actually excruciating. It's really hard. You have to like really, it takes a little bit of work to sit there and listen to him talk. So I tried to listen to his Joe Rogan. I made it like 35 minutes in. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because of the way it sounds, you know?
Yeah. Okay, line number 64. He said there's chlorine in the water. I'm assuming he meant fluoride. But line number 65. Totally incorrect numbers about the Ukraine support. He said, I didn't write the numbers down, but the amount that he said that we're supporting them with versus Europe was way not correct. I can look into those to add clarification once I upload this onto.
He compared our like what spending to Europe.
Yeah,
or
we have spent more than Europe, but he said way more than the actual amount. I will pull those numbers and have them in the document. Line number 66. He said people are being killed in Ukraine right now at levels no one has ever seen before. What?
He said people are being killed at what?
Levels no one has ever seen before.
So he claimed that the murder rates are up higher than ever?
Yeah.
I think they're on a 10-year downturn, actually, because of...
No, I'm sorry. He's saying in the war in Ukraine, people are being killed at a rate that's never been seen before.
Oh, that's an absolute lie.
Of course, yes.
Fire. I mean, I think the total... it's really hard to understand which, what number is the fact, but as far as I know, I think they say like 100,000 on the Russian side, and around the same number on the Ukrainian side. They say it's like 200,000 something KIAs. The source that I'm hearing or listening to. Do you know anything from your side?
I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I'm under the impression that Russia has lost like a lot more than Ukraine. It is not the same.
Okay.
A 7-to-1 ratio was the last I.
7 to 1.
7 to 1. Yeah.
So
we could actually,
100,000 Ukrainians and maybe 700,000 or 800,000 Russians.
Let's just pull this up now.
700,000 or 800,000 losses is an insane number. America's never experienced that before. Someone in the chat said 1 million in Russia, almost. I mean, you're gonna get a propaganda number no matter where you get it, right? There's no way to know what's fact on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to get a direct fact. Okay. 43,000 Ukrainian soldiers to 600,000 Russian soldiers.
So that I would say I would probably, my just logic kind of steers me towards the Russian numbers, probably propaganda. But if they've thrown that many bodies at it, that's insane for just a little piece of the Donbass. I don't understand that. Could you imagine America throwing 700,000 bodies at something?
Insane. Yeah, it is insanity. And
we didn't even get close to that when we saved the world twice.
W America. All right. Thank you, Emmanuel, for $1. Joe Rogan's a terrible source of information because he's super gullible and does no research on any subject. True.
Yeah, I actually stopped listening to him every day. I used to listen to him every day, but he doesn't challenge or, Jamie, he used to fact check stuff right on point, just to figure it out right then and there. But his fact check started changing from facts to opinions. So, and it was noticeable. It was noticeable by me.
Yeah, chat saying Russia's doing so bad they're asking North Korea for help. Give you an idea. Okay. We're almost done with the lie list. We're so close.
North Koreans are probably the worst war fighters on the planet, by the way. But anyway, besides the point.
Okay, so lie number 67. So the interviewer said that he lost the 2020 election, and he said, well, that's your opinion. Trump losing the 2020 election is not a matter of opinion. He lost. He lost to Joe Biden in 2020 by 7 million votes, and that's not an opinion to have. It's verifiable. It's gone. He lost 64 of 64 court cases. They went through 7 audits, 7 recounts in all 7 swing states. He lost. And him saying it's an opinion is a lie. Line number 68. He said that if he was in office, quote, Ukraine and Israel would never have happened. So first of all, the way he structured the sentence was dumb. Saying Israel would never happen. What does that mean? But second of all, him being in office would not have prevented October 7th by any stretch. I don't know why he thinks that would make any sense. Line number 69. He said that Ukraine has lost 400,000 troops. We just fact checked that. It's under 100,000, at least by any metric that isn't just vibes or x.com. Line number 70. He said that we are getting the butt end of the deal with Ukraine because we provide more funding and we have to defend them. We have sorry, not Ukraine. I'm so sorry. The butt end of the deal with NATO, because we provide the most funding and we have to defend them. We have never defended NATO.
We're kind of doing it now to a non-NATO country, but for the NATO countries, because we don't. Kind of the point behind it, as far as I understand it, is you don't want them taking over Ukraine so that they can encroach on Poland or get closer to the greater sacking of Europe per se. So.
Well, we're defending Ukraine.
Kind of doing it by supporting Ukraine. We are helping NATO.
We are helping NATO, but we're not defending NATO for that reason. The reason we're supporting Ukraine is because we have an agreement, the Budapest Memorandum from 1994. You know what that is?
No, I have heard people talk about it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I need to relearn about it. Obviously, I'd like to know what your
yeah. So the Budapest Memorandum was an agreement signed in 1994. It was signed by the United States, the United Kingdom, and Russia. Obviously, Russia has broken this deal, and also 3 countries. It was Ukraine, 2 of the other countries in that area. I can't remember. Bosnia, maybe something like that. But long story short, Ukraine is voluntarily giving up their nukes.
Yes.
Bosnia, Kosovo, was that it? Kazakhstan? Kazakhstan sounds right. Either way, Ukraine voluntarily gives up their nukes. In exchange, we agree to defend them if they're ever invaded.
Okay. So that's why we defended them in 2014, the first time they were invaded, or
Belarus. Thank you, Belarus. Yes, that's right. I wish we had defended them more, frankly. But
well, yeah, because they lost land in that fight, right?
Yeah, they lost land. Obama instituted sanctions, but obviously the sanctions weren't enough. and
Right.
then Trump didn't do really anything during his term when the tensions were rising. There was two separate large conflicts in 2017 and 2018 that Trump didn't really do anything about, and then obviously the full-scale invasion happened under Biden's term.
So let me educate you on my conservative bias from what my side has educated me on this was that like I believed before listening to your content today that I truly believe that we were kind of wrong. That like I put it like this. I was like, if Russia put weaponry in Cuba, there's precedent of this. The Bay of Pigs did happen. There's precedent of this. When Russia encroached on our borders, we invaded Cuba over that. We were not okay with that. We got that shit out of there quick. And civilians died for that in Cuba. So, my idea of it was that we were encroaching on Russia's land. We were putting weaponry too close to the Russian borders. So they attacked Ukraine to push us back because we were encroaching on, and we were basically trying to invite Ukraine into NATO, which is against the Budapest Memorandum or against some treaty that we have with Russia, that Ukraine is not allowed to be in NATO.
Yeah, a whole lot of this is literally just Russian propaganda.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
disseminated from Putin.
I had a feeling that was half of what I know was pretty much caught up in this propaganda ring, but that could happen to anybody. I don't really, I'm not upset with myself about it, but so none of that is true though. So like none of that is true. We weren't trying to make Ukraine NATO.
We were not trying to make Ukraine NATO. Ukraine applied to join NATO like 3 times and they were denied.
Okay. So Russia's just using that as a scapegoat, as a reason. Got it.
Yes. This whole concept of NATO is not supposed to expand any more eastward. Not only was it like an off quote from a leader of the time, like it wasn't like a treaty, it wasn't signed or anything. It wasn't even technically about NATO. It was referring to Germany when Germany was split up in Western Germany and Eastern Germany. It's a whole thing. If you go down the rabbit hole, all of these talking points are false.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another thing I could do a whole day on. It's
really hard that this is happening. It kind of sucks, dude, because like my mind is on a whirlwind of problematic thoughts. Like I have to relearn like reality. It feels like
yeah,
it really sucks because like I was pretty set in my ways. Like I felt like I was pretty up to date on everything. Like I was definitely caught in an echo chamber, which is what I thought the opposition opinions was echo chamber. That's just like, it sucks that more people can't be open-minded to reality. Like, well, how did I get so caught up in believing what is not even real? It really makes me mad, angers me.
It's really frustrating. And
I don't consider myself stupid, you know what I'm saying? But now I feel like I don't think 80 million people in the country are actually stupid, probably half of them. But, like how did all of them get fooled like I did? Like, I feel like tomorrow I'm going to dedicate my entire day to like doing what you did for me to all of my friends and family because they need to wake up.
Good luck, bro. It is hard. It is.
Well, I'm taking notes from how you've handled it with me, and I've taken a ton of notes on the lies from this conversation to use as, like foothold to get in under the skin of my friends and family because it will be a challenge. But all I can do is try. I think I'd be doing right by trying. Doing nothing would just be cowardice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate.
I feel very motivated to do this for others. I think it'll be easy, honestly.
Well, I wish you luck. You know what? I think chat would also love if you'd report back every few days and see how it goes.
Dude, hop me in. You could bring me into your lives if you want. Maybe I can help open some minds to some other people you're talking to.
Yeah, reformed Trump voter for sure. Really quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really quickly, Corey, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. Thanks for sharing the truth. Thank you so much, Corey. I really appreciate that. What was I gonna say? Thanking Corey, Corey. What was I gonna say? There was one other thing I was gonna say. Oh, okay. We just hit, as a recap for those that are just joining. Okay. We've been watching. We started this live 4 hours ago. Okay. We watched.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
Epsilon, thank you so much for sending the galaxy to Chris. We watched Trump's first interview since he became president-elect. Okay, these are the stats from that interview. We watched it in real time. We fact-checked in real time.
Do you have that posted somewhere? I could review it.
I'm gonna update the Excel. Right, like right now it's like notes. Here, I'll show you like what it looks like.
God, now I'm gonna have to go and get followers so I can go live
Like,
and dedicate my free time to opening the eyes of people's reality, because it feels wrong that like so many people were fooled so badly.
it does feel wrong. Oh yeah, and you join the Discord. You'd be great there. But yeah, so
Okay.
it's all like notes in shorthand. So I'm gonna make it look nice, and then I'll put it in my link tree. I used to have I guess I could put it back in there from the first Trump Harris debate. I listed all of the lies from Trump and Harris. It was Harris had 7 lies, Trump had 60, and I listed them because people were always like, well, you're the one doing the fact checking, so it's biased. I was like, okay, well, the 60 lies are in my bio. Come disprove any of them, and they never could. But
Someone
anyway,
in the chat said it's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled.
yeah,
That's a really interesting statement. I've never heard that before. I guess that's the challenge of speaking truth to people who are fooled. They truly believe what they believe, and it's hard to change people's minds.
100%. Also, for those that don't know, in my bio, okay, there's a PDF. It's all the sources. We have 80 plus pages of sources that we've been gathering since before the election. It's been compiled by my mod Mim, WMim. None of what I talk about is, unless I say this is conjecture, none of what I talk about is pulled out of my ass. We have a source to back up everything we talk about. So if you are interested in looking at those sources, that's way more comprehensive than what we talked about in this interview. That's it's in my link tree in my bio. It's a PDF. But anyway, real quick. So 4 hours. We watched the interview. These are the stats. 95 questions asked. Only 49 questions answered. 77 lies told. We're going through the lies now with this is a former Trump supporter. As we've gone through the lies, his eyes have been awoken. He's taken the whatever pill in Matrix that makes you see the world, whichever the real one is. And we just got to lie. Where are we? We're about to hit lie 70. Okay, we have 7 lies left. But the reason I'm recapping is just so if you're not following, you drop a follow. We've been we've had a very interesting live, and tonight is the 90th night we've gone live doing these political lives. It was 74 straight nights leading up to the election, and obviously I've taken a few breaks since, but tonight is night 90. I don't know what we're going to do on night 100. We're gonna have something planned for sure. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I appreciate all of you. We're live Wednesdays to Saturdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, doing live political debates, political discussions, and fact checks. And we're also live for all major political events like this interview. So if you like this content, drop a follow. Thank you all for tapping the screen. Thank you all for the gift. I appreciate every single one of you, whether you were here all 90 nights or just got here today. Thank you all so much. We're going to do the last 7 lies. We're going to finish talking with this guest, and then we'll see how the rest of the night is going to go. So,
can you clip it? Can you clip any of your lives? Like clip up some parts to post, like little parts to just like spread, I guess, some interest in like someone actually being converted live. Like
yeah, I'm definitely gonna clip parts of this for sure. I can't clip any of the parts with the interview itself. But the part where like I think we got to like lie 7, and you're like, okay, like that's when you started to be like, okay, yeah, this is.
Yeah, you had me
I'm
after like
rethinking
5 or
things.
6. I was already like,
Yeah,
because I was already had like questions. I started to realize that I was getting like really, really one-sided information from like my podcast that I listened to. Like I was not getting challenged on what was reality. It was just like started to feel really weird. I was like no, there should be questions to some of these things, and no one would have answers for those questions I'd look for. So, I have to find the sources to where I can get like a different side of facts, because there's 2 different sides to anything you read. I've obviously been reading, listening, and spending time on the wrong outlets.
yeah. So what's really frustrating to me is that prior to Trump, really, the 2 parties used to be, we agree on problems, but we disagree on solutions. But ever since like the Trump version of the Republican Party, we don't even agree on problems. We don't agree on reality anymore, and that's what's really so
Yeah.
frustrating to us, the non-Trump supporters, because we're like, bro, like we can't even debate the topic because you guys don't think it happened. Like it's, and so
And
I
we
said this
call
before.
your side Trump derangement syndrome.
I
But
know
like,
that's what we always
you're
get.
literally cradled in so much more truth than my side is. It's at least like the way I see it now. I wouldn't have said that 2 hours ago, but
You
um,
you know the thing about the Trump derangement syndrome? I've showed this clip before. We have a bunch of people in here though, and I feel like a lot of them are new, so I'm gonna show it real quick.
They're eating the dogs.
Thank you so much, CTG. Okay, so the Trump derangement syndrome, right? The reason that they say that, Dan, I am begging you to upload the VOD for your subscribers. I missed the first 2 hours. I will try. I will see what I can do, but it's copyrighted material, so the first 2 hours I'm not gonna be able to upload. I don't think. I might have to like literally put it in the Discord. But okay,
you're not allowed to clip up anything where you
Don't
have the
boo,
part where the
vote.
actual interview was on. You can't use that.
I can clip up like small clips and then me talking about it. But if it's just the clip, I can't. So like posting the VOD, I cannot
got
do.
it. Okay.
Because it's covered under fair use if I'm talking about it. But okay, so Trump derangement syndrome, right, is a response to the fact that we don't shut the fuck up about Trump, and I get that. Now you're starting to see why we don't shut the fuck up about Trump, because like
Yeah.
he's a danger to democracy, he lies all the time, all that. But the reason that I think a lot of people feel like we are overreacting with this stuff is this. I'm gonna play this quick clip.
Well, Doc, I think I did pretty well in my tests. You may shake my hand if you like.
Well, under the circumstances, I'd rather not.
Eh?
Mr. Burns, I'm afraid you are the sickest man in the United States. You have everything.
You mean I have pneumonia?
Yes.
Juvenile diabetes?
Yes.
Hysterical pregnancy?
A little bit, yes. You also have several diseases that have just been discovered in you.
I see. You sure you just haven't made thousands of mistakes?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, this sounds like bad news.
Well, you'd think so, but all of your diseases are in perfect balance. If you have a moment, I can explain.
Well,
Here's the door to your body, you see? And these are oversized novelty germs. That's influenza, that's bronchitis, and this cute little cuddle bug is pancreatic cancer. Here's what happens when they all try to get through the door at once.
So I genuinely think, because of how many lies he tells, because of how many bad policies he proposes, because of how many awful things he's said or done, it starts to we start to get like jaded to it. We start to get numb to it, and it feels like if he just had one big scandal, it might have been over. It muddies the waters, yeah. Well, because it's so many, one after another, we're desensitized.
And they keep stacking, and they just kept stacking and kept getting away with it, kept getting away with it. And now there's a whole new reality built that half the country truly believes. I mean, I was caught in that population. I literally am motivated to now like dedicate a good chunk of time, man, to making this a point of progress, to like actually put some work into changing the realities for people back to the actual reality that we live in, because we should have elected a different Republican to run for president.
Yeah.
Because this guy's not even Republican. From what I understand now, he's not even a Republican. He's just a freaking autocrat. He's just a
Yes, he's an authoritarian. He has no actual ideals. He will switch his position on anything to serve his
absolutely.
political views.
You know, and you know what really made me gain support with him is when he pulled in Tulsi Gabbard. I really liked her. She was the first Democrat I ever really liked. Anything she's ever had to say, I've always loved anything that Tulsi Gabbard's had to say. But like now I kind of see the whole point for bringing in RFK and bringing in Tulsi. It was to just like heap up a couple extra votes for getting some people that were progressive thinking or a little in the middle. It was just a tactic. It wasn't actually. He's probably not even going to use her for anything good. She's not going to get to do anything democratic at all.
No, in fact, he wants her as the ambassador to ambassador to Russia.
I have to like her a little less now because I feel like she got corrupted by this dude who's a piece of shit, a piece of crap. You know,
there's a lot of reasons not to like Tulsi Gabbard. I liked her in 2016 when she endorsed Bernie, and all I knew about her was that she was a little bit socially conservative. But the more you learn about her and like her secret meetings with Assad and the fact that she can't even get like security clearance, Tulsi's
I need
another.
to look into the Assad claims because, as far as I know, my side debunked that. There's a lot
Oh,
of
did
videos
they?
out there debunking that, of course, but I have to kind of relearn that so I can have solid knowledge. And I'm trying to convert these Trumpies. Dude, I can't believe I was blue pilled. I used to try to red pill people, bro. This is insane. Bro, congrats, dude. Good shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
you
your
say,
name?
listen, you still are a Republican. You just don't support Trump. We'll blue pill you one day, but for now, you're still
Yeah,
conservative.
you're right. I'm definitely not blue pill. I
Yeah.
do not support Trump. But that's like, now I have no home. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just a Trump hater.
No,
but
you're
I have no
you're a
place to
McCain
go?
Republican right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Don't worry. We'll get you to our side. I'm kidding, but maybe. Shout out to Epsilon for $2. Make sure guest knows how to accept his gifts. Yeah. So when my live ends, you're gonna get a notification that says you have some money, right, from guests sending you gifts, and you're gonna have to like set up a PayPal account with TikTok to get that money.
Oh, okay.
The
That's
only
what
other
those
way to
coins
get it
are?
is to
Money?
I'm sorry.
Those coins? That's money?
Yes. Those coins convert to money.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you'll see once I end the live. You'll see how much money it converts to. And but yeah, I mean, chat loves you. Chat loves an open-minded king. Okay, and shout out to Emmanuel for $1. Trump on record saying 30,000 lies in his last term. Yeah, over 30,000 lies recorded during his first 4 years in office.
I heard that before. I've heard all of this stuff before, but it's just so easy to pass it as, oh, it's just bullcrap, because I've been taught to just think anything you hear from those sources, for anything from CNN
You
News,
think you
anything
just fell
from
out of a coconut tree?
anything you hear from
You think you
Queen,
just fell
that
out
is
of
a
a
lot.
coconut tree?
Wait, hold on. Kamala's not going to shut up for a bit.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Oh my god. He's so annoying.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Well, Queen sent a lot of those. Thank you, Queen.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
So I have some of the gifts attached to sound effects. I don't know if you saw earlier, the confetti was like, I did everything right and they indicted me, right? The donuts are Obama's.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Now chat knows you're annoyed, and
you think you
and they're
just
gonna
fell
send
out of
more.
a coconut tree?
Fucking chat. Okay, all right. Thank you all.
I don't get triggered super easy. It's all good.
Anyway, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Thank you for the stars. Yeah. So chat loves an open-minded king, and they've sent you gifts to reflect that. I was gonna say something real quick about what you had said earlier, which was oh, you were in the middle of a sentence. Did you want to finish your sentence?
I don't even remember what it was.
Okay,
I was pulled way off guard by all of the noises.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I love it.
Okay. So I used to say all the time before the election, where someone was like, is there any way that you would vote for Trump? And I'm like, no. And I know it sounds like that means I'm not open-minded. But I need people to understand this would have been a much different election if it was something like a Kamala Harris versus a Nikki Haley, or a Kamala Harris versus a Chris Christie, or I mean, there's a Tim Scott. Any of these Republicans, I disagree with them on policy, but there's a universe where I would vote for that person, right? If I find out something really bad about Kamala Harris,
I supported Ben Carson over Trump in his first race. I was a Ben Carson guy. I thought he was a brilliant, surgeon and very successful, very smart as he talked. I was sold on Ben Carson. I didn't vote for Trump first term. I voted for him second term and third try. And now I really regret it. I used to laugh at the videos I'd see where people were like, "Oh, there's regret for Trump voters, and there's so much regret," and the whole subject around "fuck around and find out."
Yeah.
Well,
I think some of those fuck around find out videos are a little cringe myself, but
yeah, absolutely. But still, like, seeing all of that, like, I would laugh at that. And now, like, to where I stand now is absolutely insane. Like, I cannot thank you enough for really putting in the time and letting me be on your live, man. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate. Listen, you're the exact guest we're looking for. An open-minded.
This is important, man. This is like really important shit. I was living in a fake world, and I don't like that. That's not cool. And I really am. I'm gonna dedicate myself to getting people out of that world, man, because it shouldn't exist. People shouldn't be living in this echo chamber of lies, because it's gonna do a lot of damage. This is gonna hurt a lot of people. This sucks.
Yeah.
This really sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it already has hurt a lot of people. And from his the actions of his first term, and now just him winning the election. Like,
Don't boo.
I know
You
you're
know, the
gonna.
problem is, what really sucks though, man, like people, even when they start to realize or think on things that they like, once like truth starts to creep in, there's so much ignorancy and being wrong and not just accepting that like, oh, you were fooled or that you believed lies. Like
Yeah,
that is the hardest part for people, I think. And that's where you're like 90% of people will never, ever, ever turn back on the way they voted. But I do think that a lot of people will, if they're just showed the right way, like the other reality that exists, like a way where you're calm and collected and respectful and just like show that, like, hey, like that's a lie, dude. Like that's a blatant lie. It's really that simple. For me, it was that simple. Like seeing you count the lies and then call them out on your live was just like gut wrenching for me. I'm like, damn it.
It's yeah, part of the reason I really like going live on my PC. A lot of the bigger creators go live on their phone. I like going live on my PC because I can pull up the fact check in real time. Just pull it. Obviously, there's a Simpsons clip, but you know what I mean. Like for the DHS letter, or sorry, the ICE letter, for example. Like I can pull this up right here, you know, and then it's undeniable. Guess, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Oh, they got a sub. You got a sub. Someone gifted you a sub. Epsilon,
Yeah.
thank you for the gifted sub. Yeah, this is how you know when someone is here in good faith or not, right? Because if you pull up the receipts this quickly, either and they don't accept it, I don't know where to go from there. You know, like that person is like in a an echo chamber, I guess. You know, they're in a cult. I mean, we talk about it all the time, and I know it's a bit demeaning and condescending, but it really is a cult. When you live in a different reality and just believe one man. Okay, we're almost done with the lie list chat. We are on lie 71. He said there are October 7th deniers. I don't know about October 7th. I know about January 6th deniers. I've never heard of October 7th deniers.
That was probably just a answer out of like dumbness. I don't think that was an intentional lie, but I mean, it's like, why even take up for him at this point? Like whatever he says is a lie to me now. I'm not going to believe a damn thing that dude ever says again.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he lies every time. If his lips are moving, he's lying. That's and it sucks because what we get back a lot is, well, all politicians lie. It's like, no, hang on. Hang on. There's a difference. There's a difference. Okay.
Well, I mean, in a way, though, that is true. All politicians are liars because they wish-wash or change their support for certain memorandums or positions, for sure. They all do it. We've seen it happen in all of history. They all change their mind. They all lie to a certain extent. I don't think you can be in that position and not sometimes lie to protect people.
No,
that's part of the job, in fact.
Yeah, it's just the difference in scale, and also the difference in like
outcomes of those said lies.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
The cognitive dissonance caused by these lies have half of the country living in a world that does not exist, promising things that are not gonna come. I mean, that's what upsets me.
These lies have cost lives. Like Ashley Babbitt is not alive because of these lies. Period. Point blank. Right. That's just one example.
But Ashley Babbitt, the girl from the January 6th.
January 6th, yeah.
It's Ashley Babbitt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Air Force veteran too, I believe.
Yeah, and I obviously disagree with her, but I don't want her to be dead, and she's not here right now because of Donald Trump's lie. That's just one example of many. But okay, lie number 72. He said he won the youth vote by 30%. I don't think I need to go into that. He did not win the youth vote by 30%. He did get almost 50% of young men, men 18 to 29, which is the most any Republican's ever gotten. That's true.
Isn't it the highest population of voters as well?
No, second highest. We had more voters than 20.
No, like I'm saying 18 to 30 or 60-year-old white males are the highest population of voters.
No, I said 18 to 29-year-olds.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, he won men, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I'm saying the only thing that, because he said he won 30% with youth. That's not true.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, lie 73 is he repeats the lie that Biden weaponized the Justice Department. Lie 74, when asked, this was such a good question by the interviewer. She's like, when you were president and you had control of the Justice Department, they allegedly cheated. But now that Biden's president and Biden has control of the Justice Department, why didn't they cheat this time? And he said, too big to rig.
Too big to rig. I remember you going over this and hearing that one. That one caught my attention really big too and got me like thinking. I was like, yeah, like that's a really good question that the interviewer asked that like really opened my logic thinking brain. Like, no, like that makes sense. Like if they stole it last time, why did they fail so badly to do it again? Why would they not do it again? Especially that they have more power now than they did back then.
We had almost no power at the time.
It'd be a lot easier to steal it this time than it would have last time.
Yeah, exactly. Lie 75, we went over during the interview. We actually paused the interview and went over it. Ivanka produced millions of jobs. That's not true. They were literally training opportunities. Many of them were for jobs that already exist. They were for positions that are already filled. Many of them were commitments that were already made by companies even before her program. I will post that. Mim, I don't know if you added that fact check into sources, but I will send it to you if it's not already there. And it'll be in
that part of the video too. I gotta say this: I wasn't really happy with how he like talked about his wife. I felt like he kind of belittled her by how he was trying to like. He said something like really crude, like, "Oh yeah, like she's great, like she's good."
He said she's a solid person.
Solid person. That's what it was. It's like,
imagine talking about your wife like that.
More like I don't know, maybe proper way to presidentially like explain like how great your wife is. Like that sounded so dumb to say to the public, you know.
Mim, this is the one I'm talking about. But yeah, and don't get me started on how he talks about his daughter. Oh my god.
He kind of, I've always questioned how he talked about his daughter. Like I think he has an interview where he says something really insane about his daughter. Like he would date his daughter or something. Like if it wasn't his daughter, which was super freaking crazy to say.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
Actually, I think I have this one. Oh, I took it off speed dial after the election. But yeah, he said, if she wasn't his daughter, perhaps he'd be dating her. He in a magazine, in a different interview, he said, if I wasn't happily married and her father, maybe I'd be dating her. The fact that he put happily married first behind her father part. In a Howard Stern interview, he was complimenting her figure and calling her voluptuous.
So out of pocket, so insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always had issues with Trump's morality stance. Like I don't believe he's a Christian at all. I don't believe that dude's ever cracked the Bible open and read a verse to himself in his life, which I spend 20 minutes every single morning doing. It's my routine before I eat and start my day. It's just what I do. But I've just like been taught to vote Republican to save my rights. You know what I mean? And now I've got to like learn how to educate myself to show like my Republican friends and family like that may not be really where we should be standing.
So this is just blue pilling you on Trump. We'll have future conversations about the Republicans and states' rights and all that stuff. We'll have future conversations about that, but that's a whole other topic. Okay.
We're definitely gonna have to come back and join again for sure.
Yeah, I would love to have you. Lie number 76. He said our country is a crime pot. Oh no, I didn't count that one. I just didn't know what that meant. What's a crime pot? Lie number 76. Our reputation is shit around the world. That's not true. Saying that our reputation got worse under Biden is just simply not true. We have polling from around the world that shows people around the world respect Biden more than they do Trump. I can pull that up.
Someone in the chat said he couldn't even recite the Lord's Prayer. He tried to mouth the words. Yeah, I remember seeing that. He mouthed some of them wrong.
I mean, when they asked him his favorite Bible verse, and he said that's really personal, and then they asked him, okay, well, do you prefer the Old Testament or New Testament? And he's like, equal. Like, bro doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, let's be real here.
Saying you're a Christian and not being able to rattle off at least a dozen like solid verses off the dome is insane.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat said Biden is what Republican used to look like. So I've been actually kind of noticing this. It's a big subject that some of the sources I listen to have been talking about, like how things have shifted really far extreme on both ends. I think that's one thing that's really kept me from looking into the left side is that like what parts I do see from the left's opinion is the extreme side that combat my honest like faith and beliefs. Like that's what I'm showed. I'm not showed the in between. Like there's extreme sides to both things. I ignore the extreme right. I ignore the opinions of the extreme right. I call out and notice like the bull crap pretty. I thought I noticed it pretty easily, but now I'm kind of realizing a lot has slipped by. Obviously, I have to admit that.
So the thing about the extreme right and the extreme left only exists on X.com, only exists online. We don't have any people that are extreme left in government right now.
I see a lot of TikTok. It comes through my FYP a lot.
No, I get it. I get it. Whereas the far right is like half the party. If you consider the fact that if you consider someone who's willing to support a candidate that tried to overthrow the government, I personally think that's far right. That's extreme right. And
I would say this about the right, because I would say half my friends are divided on Trump, but like picked him because it was either him or Kamala. Just like a lot of people were voting against Trump, which I now understand totally. A lot of my friends and family were voting against Kamala, not for Trump.
Kamala.
I would say half of the Republican population is a Trumper,
Chris, can you hear me?
in and out, sold out, and half of
Chris?
them are like, yeah, can you hear me?
You're a little muffled. Also, it's Kamala.
I think I had my finger over my mic. Where was I when I lost you?
You said your friends.
Like I'd say my friends are split down the middle on supporting Trump or just being Republican. But a lot of us just voted for Trump because it's like that was our option, or voting for Kamala. You know what I mean?
Kamala.
It's so hard when
just say Harris. Just say if you can't remember, just say Harris.
You're right. I'll just say Vice President Harris. Yeah.
Okay, shout out to Emmanuel for $1. Can't wait for the guest to learn about the dark history about the Republican and conservative as a whole. We'll save that for another day, Emmanuel. We'll save that for another day. But yeah, this right here, they polled multiple different countries on their feelings about Trump and Biden. They much percent who have confidence in blank to do the right thing regarding world affairs. Much higher confidence in Joe Biden than Donald Trump. I don't know if you could see it on the screen if it's too small.
Yeah. Wow, that's unsettling. You know, and I would have assumed that most of the other countries supported Trump over Vice President Harris. I would have assumed that, honestly.
The right wing social media ecosystem is strong. It is powerful. Okay, we are on the last lie 77, when he said to the voters that didn't vote for him, "I love you." I don't believe him. I don't think he loves me. But that's kind of the meme lie 77. It was the last one at the very end of the interview. And so, yes, that's it. That's all 77 lies. I will be posting this in the sources doc in my link tree in my bio probably tomorrow. I just have to edit some of the sentences and to make them legible because it's just my shorthand. For those in chat that want to see the Excel doc. Now, I have been holding in a Glen. For those that know, and need to use the restroom. Quinn, who is a friend of the live, wanted to speak with you real quick. So I'm gonna bring Quinn up.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'm gonna use the restroom very quickly. I'll be right back. Nobody go anywhere. But if you are gonna go somewhere, drop a follow first. Thank you. Hey, Quinn.
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Just hanging out. I was just listening, and I just wanted to talk to him about some things. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Quincy? How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, you can call me Quinn. I was just curious. I was just curious about what are your, when you say that you're Republican, like what do you vote based on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to? When you say you're conservative and you say that you're Republican,
I guess I'm coming from a really propagandized history as far as like what I knew as politics.
Right.
I was voting for what now we got to understand for what I thought was reality, right?
Yeah.
Now
I get you.
My future vote on in a much different stance. I can tell you that. But basically, it's like this. I love my guns. I probably have over $50,000 worth of weaponry. I have a nice collection. I live on a good sized piece of land in California. I love my property. I don't like high taxes. I like my privacy. I like my God. Um, and I like less power in government. I think there should be much more power held by the people. That's my strongest beliefs.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to explain to the like other people who are Republican, who are voting this way because they think that they need to because they are Republican, is to understand that the things that like MAGA is implementing would be like far more government overreach over people's bodies, people's like rights. You know what I mean? Like most people are just concerned about like gun rights and things like that, but then you have to take in consideration if you're talking about how you want smaller government and the fact that women don't even have control over their own bodies in certain states and things like that, or people who are LGBTQ or trying to transition don't have control over their own hormones and things like that that restrict to their own personal freedoms. That's far more government overreach, you know?
Yes, agreed. But like, it's just so hard for me. I have a new lens to like kind of relearn things because I have to question the reality of things. Like there's so much for me to go out and learn now because like I was under the interpretation that like to vote for the left side was to vote for people who wanted to allow children that were like prepubescent to make the decision to change their sex. I think that's wrong.
No.
I think if you're a child, you shouldn't have the right to say, make that decision, just like you don't have the right to get a tattoo. You don't have the right to get a driver's license or, you know what I'm saying? Like at underage, like there's a lot of limitations for children. So like the left was fighting so hard to have that right for literal prepubescent children. And for the right of the parent to not be considered, I thought that was hella overreach. I was really scared by that, that kind of like radicalized me, that opinion did.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think that like actual kids are like getting their genitals cut off and stuff like that?
I would say it's probably super rare, but even one account, it's like too much. You know what I mean?
Understandable. I would have to look into it, but I can tell you from like my perspective as being a trans woman, that kids aren't getting their genitals reassigned. So the whole thing with gender reassignment surgery is even in adults who are transgender, their genitals of being reassigned are generally between like they estimate 4 to 13% of trans people who are adults or even transgender actually follow through with genital reassignment surgery because it takes years of hormone replacement to even get to that point. And to get to hormone replacement point, you have to go to therapy, you have to see doctors, you have to see psychiatrists who will all diagnose you with these ailments of like body dysmorphia, all these different things that like
you said 4 to 12%. That's it.
4 to 12%
actually do transition.
Yes, I want you to understand that there's 3 different types of transitioning. There's
that would put kids down in like single digits or double digits or something really low. Insane.
It's very low, man. Like honestly, the percentage of people who actually follow through with genital reassignment surgery is very low because I can talk these things through with you so you have a better perspective on these things. Most children, like if you want to say children as in like teenagers and stuff who actually do go to like doctors and therapists and stuff and then they follow through with things, it's usually puberty blockers, which other children actually have to take puberty blockers anyway, because like imagine if you're like a 9-year-old girl and you start like showing signs of like your puberty early, you might get put on puberty blockers, or like if you're a boy, same thing. So these things that are like temporarily halt your puberty progression.
Right, because puberty is happening earlier and earlier every year.
Exactly.
Right?
So puberty blockers halt the progression of your puberty, so that like it gives you time to think about whether or not like this is what you want. This is what if you want to go on hormones. Hey Dan, what's up?
I just really quickly, 2 things. One, Emmanuel, thank you for the $1. Remind guests Trump VP pick Pam Bondi also for firearms restriction and his stands. To also take them without due process, and his stance is to take them without due process. Yeah, we can get into that.
Hey, could you say that again? Who is it? Who is that? I need to.
Pam Bondi, his it's not his VP pick. Pam Bondi is his pick for what is?
I was about to say that it's not Vance. Yeah. Vance is his VP.
Wait, can't hear you. They're saying they can't hear me.
I like Vance.
Wait,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
AG. Oh, his pick for Attorney General. Yeah, Pam Bondi. Yeah, and that's a separate topic. We talk about that later. Second thing, Walker, the feral cat, is outside. I'm gonna go feed him. I will be back. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to let you all know.
Yeah, no worries. No, you're not interrupting, man. All right, so like puberty blockers essentially slow or like halt the
Can I
progression
ask you
of
a question
puberty.
about puberty blockers?
Sure. I don't really know
People on
like
my side believe that causes permanent damage. Is that a lie?
I would have to say it is a lie because it mostly just halts the progression of your puberty until you stop taking them. So like it can give you time to think about whether or not you want to go on to hormones. I'm not a doctor, so like I'm saying like I don't know 100% of like the risks factors that go into anything. Just like if you were to be like diabetic or something and taking medicine for that, there would be risks involved with that. Correct? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's like a 30% fail rate on knee surgery, but yeah, so totally.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know all these risks that are going into those things. So then, essentially, like, there's 3 different types of transitioning. There's social transitioning, which is just like you change like your name and the way that you dress and like the way that you look and things like that. So like that would just be like social transitioning. So not all trans people even take hormones or even ever want to get surgery. I want you to understand that.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's hormone like transitioning, like HRT, which would mean that like you eventually get on hormones and that would like change the way that like your body looks. And like if you are a transgender man, it would change the way that like your muscle mass and like all that kind of things. And then there's,
I mean, I think that would be great. Like old guys that start losing their testosterone, it's like healthy to get on testosterone when your body stops making it. Like that's totally. I hope
that is
much more
hormone
available.
replacement therapy. That is gender affirming care. So if you are a male, just like a cisgendered male, and you are low T eventually, and you start taking testosterone because you need it for your body, that is gender affirming care.
Every day.
Yeah, that is gender affirming care. So there's lots of like people who want
straight people that would benefit from gender affirming care.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who want to stop gender affirming care in certain states and things like that, and that would also hurt cisgendered people as well. You know?
Okay, noted. Yeah, absolutely. Knowledge has occurred. Appreciate it, Wayne.
Yeah. So, and then there's like medical transitioning, which is like when you take your hormones and things like that, and then there's surgical. And I just want you to understand from the standpoint that not all people are even surgically transitioning. And then when you think of the standpoint of kids, the most thing that's happening in those cases is like, I don't know the number on it, but you can look this up. It's generally just social transitioning. If you want to really worry about children and what they're doing, it's generally they're just changing their name and like dressing differently. And most of these things causes children to feel better about themselves, the anxiety that they experience from body dysmorphia. Because if you're not transgender, you wouldn't ever experience this. So it's coming from the standpoint of saying like, you don't understand the medical condition that I have, which makes me the way that I am. So you say that it's wrong. And I'm not saying you, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay.
I think my opinion now has changed to the like so the right side kind of like we're bred to believe that like we were propagandized to believe that it was much, much bigger than it was. I think a lot of people voted for this reason. It was like their main thing out of fear that it was like a much bigger deal than it actually is. I think personally, I've always kind of known this to be true, that the LGBTQ family, people coming out as gay or trans, has exploded because of the acceptance of it has exploded.
Exactly.
So that's a causation. That's like a direct causality of that being the case. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many influencers out there. It's everywhere, you know? It's in TV shows everywhere now.
And with trans people, we are literally less than 1% of the population in the United States. So you want to take into consideration there's like what 400 and something million people in the United States and like 1.6 million trans adults or something like that.
Also, wow. I don't know if y'all talked about it yet, but so the Republicans spent like over $200 million on anti-trans ads this election cycle. Even though, like Quinn just said, it was
215 million, I believe, Dan.
$215 million. And to give you an idea of how off, like you had just said it, and that's actually what made me want to bring this point up. You said like we're bred to believe that it's a much bigger problem, right? So have you ever heard of the movie What Is a Woman?
Matt Walsh, man.
Wait, the Matt Walsh. Yeah, I've seen a lot of like clips and bits of it. I never subscribed to watch it. I cannot stand those people. I think they're the extreme right.
Mim, did you accidentally block Tavion? Hey, damn, if you can send him a message, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Okay, real quick. What was I saying? Yeah, so Matt Walsh made a whole movie about trans people and what is a
Belittling.
woman, right?
Yeah.
And when asked on an interview, like, how many people do you think are on puberty block or have been on puberty blockers?
Oh my god, man.
He said
You know, I mean,
millions. I think it was Joe Rogan.
He said like yeah, it was Joe Rogan. He said like there's millions of cases of like adolescents being like prescribed like hormones and puberty blockers, and then they looked it up and it was in the thousands in the last like 4 years.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it was like it was in the singular thousands, like not even like
singular thousands, not like tens of
thousands.
thousands.
And he said millions. So this is a guy who dedicated days, weeks of his life making a movie about it, and he was off by a magnitude of 100x.
Remember, he's a self-proclaimed trans expert.
Now, yeah, it's total propaganda. I mean, I wonder how many people decided their vote because of that documentary alone. It has to be quantifiable, like in the thousands.
One of the platforms that Donald Trump ran on, if you went to his little bullet points on his website, was keep men out of women's sports. There's like 40 trans athletes out of the 15,000 NCAA athletes, bro. It's crazy. Like the fact that like you would even like consider that even a problem.
Can I say my opinion on that? Actually, can I share it with you? I don't think it was really fair that. And please don't take this as like a direct like.
Yeah, you can say your opinion on it, and then I'll ask you a question.
Share my.
Yeah, you can say your belief on it, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. I just want to be honest, and I want to learn here. So, I presume it was kind of a loss that a born female didn't get the national championship swimming trophy. She didn't even get awarded, even though they tied. They gave it to her for the pictures, for the press. They gave it to, I forget her name, but she transitioned. She was a 6'6" swimmer on the males team the year before.
Like Leah something?
Leah Thompson, I believe. They were ranked like 560 amongst the men. And then she went on to win 5 gold medals and a national championship 5 times over.
If you want my personal thoughts on trans women participating.
Really quick, Quinn, I'm so sorry. Really quick.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Sonia sent $2 and said, Quinn is loud. You and Chris are more quiet. I don't know if you can lower your mic settings or.
Quinn has a small fuzz in the background, I believe.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Well, anyway.
It might be a fan or something in the room causes that.
That's my fan upstairs. Here, I'll move. All right. Is that better?
So to get to what I was trying to get to.
Hold on. I interrupted Quinn. Let Quinn finish. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was saying, is that better? Oh, my whole thought on like trans women participating in like, you know, women's sports would be the fact that I think that like if you were participating in like a competition where it could be judged or something like that's not a high school sport, that you would need to undergo 3 to 5 years of hormone replacement therapy so that you are on the same obviously like if you have undergone a male puberty, you need to take hormone replacement therapy if you were to participate in like cisgendered women's sports. That's my take on it.
But he transitioned only the year before, so he had like true-born male testosterone levels all the way until the year prior, and then went on to dominate that field of sports against women.
I'm not a sports like enthusiast, man, so I don't know like these stats that you can pull out or anything. All I'm saying is that if you were to transition, here, what do you pull up on this on the?
Mim sent this to me. I haven't looked at it yet, so I don't know. It's a study from.
I'm pretty sure it's probably. Is it going to talk about how like trans women, if you undergo hormone replacement therapy, essentially removes all the advantage that you would have if you were to be still like a cis male? Is that what it's talking about? Because I can't.
Trans women, hormone therapy rapidly reduces HGB to levels seen in cisgender women. In contrast, hormone therapy decreases strength, LBM, and muscle area.
Yeah, you lose muscle mass and everything like that when you undergo hormone replacement therapy, and all the essential things that you would claim would be advantages from normal cisgendered males. So that's why I said that you need to undergo 3 to 5 years of hormone replacement therapy before you would want to participate in like cis women's sports. That's what I'm trying to say.
Also, really quick, Brianna, thank you for $1. You forgot a lie, Dan. Trump said he could win a debate against 3 people easily. He couldn't win a debate against a scarecrow. Thank you, Brianna.
And the question that I'm going to ask you, like, you can tell me your opinion, but the question that I'm going to ask you is, do you think that this should be something that a presidential candidate is running on? Do you really
No,
believe
because
that that is such a, like, if we're talking about all the issues that you could possibly talk about in the United States that actually matter, do you think that a presidential candidate should put on one of his, 10 bullet points on his website, keep men out of women's sports? Do you really think that, like, you know what I'm saying? When you can go to
no,
Kamala Harris's website and talk about, like, her tax plan and, like, pull down, like, an 82-page PDF about how she's going to pay for everything, and then dude has fucking bullet points on his website? You know what I mean?
well, looking back on it now, I think it was a total sleight of hand and just a tactful decision he made to sway people to look at things that don't actually matter. He actually made people believe that mattered way more than it did. I
That's
agree.
true.
I just I opened DonaldJTrump.com and this is the pop-up that came up.
Dude's such a grifter. Have you seen his cologne, Dan?
Yeah, we got to play that later.
It's crazy.
Yeah, when you go to this website, so I know you're a new fan, Chris, but we used to do this a lot, especially before the election, which was just compare their two websites. When you go to his website, he has two buttons: contribute and shop. Literally just wants your money. You have to find his policies. You have to click the extender thingy. You go to platform, and then it's all like generic shit. Like, look at this one: end inflation.
Why didn't we think of that, Dan?
Yeah, I don't know. And then I think one of these is keep men out of women's sport. Yeah.
Yep.
Out of 20 priorities, like, that's really number 20. By the way, is not even a thing. Unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. Like, literally, he was trying to hit the word limit on his paper. But number 18 is dangerous. Deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Thank you so much. When he talked about what that was, he literally just talking about pro-Palestine protests on college campuses, and these are citizens.
These are people that are United States citizens who are just protesting the genocide on Palestine, and they're not. No, I want to be clear. Nobody is pro-Hamas. You know what I mean? Nobody is
okay.
pro.
There are some really radical left people that are pro-Hamas.
Yeah, sorry,
but
take that back. The majority of everybody who is like protesting these things would not be pro-Hamas. They were talking about the genocide in Palestine and things like that. And these things are all taken out of proportion. And when you want to talk to people who are in your life, who are close to you, if you're trying to change their views on these things, man, you need to show them these things, especially if, like, they're voting specifically for, like, the reason that I came up here was because you said you were religious. So I wanted to talk to you about, like, LGBTQ and stuff, and how that can pertain in your life, especially with people who vote Republican because of these issues.
I'll answer any questions about that. Yeah, I'd happily answer any questions you have. I could tell you this. I was very much awakened moving to California about 7 years ago. I was not confronted with much, like literally, I met my first gay person like in the military. I was 19. The first gay person I ever met, I was 19 years old.
That you know of.
That I know of. That was open about it. You know what I mean? I didn't ever really have much opinion about it, but it just wasn't. I didn't interact with anybody that was openly gay much until I moved to California. It just was not very present in Alabama. Now things have changed a lot, but I've got several gay friends back in Huntsville, Alabama, you know, but back when I was in high school, it just wasn't really open as it is now, you know? So I just didn't have much experience about it, didn't have an opinion. My opinion now is just kind of grown out of my contact with, you know, your family, that side of life is like, I support whatever, you know, it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. I think the best way to talk to the people in your life about these things is to show them like the actual like evidence about how like they have been wronged. Like Matt Walsh, like he talks about millions of people are on hormones blockers and things like that when it's actually in like the small thousands and things, and talk to them about like, you know, man, if you like, imagine if you had a medical condition or something like that, and I'll just use that term as that, like body dysmorphia and like the actual technical terms for being transgender and things. If you had these things, and imagine if people were trying to take your medication away from you, man, how would you feel?
Oh, I mean, directly affected by decisions like that is what I think, what's the word for it? Like radicalizes people, you know?
Exactly.
So like,
do you have anybody in your life that like relies on like Medicare or like Social Security as well?
My little sister is 27 with 4 kids and is alone. I just had to pay for her divorce. She lives off the government pretty heavily and subsidies. I support that. I grew up very poor myself, so food stamps and
So like specifically like
federal
medications
healthcare
or
was what
anything
we
like
survived
that?
off of.
Yeah, like I meant like specifically like government like funded Medicare, like things like that for like medicines and things
My
like that.
sister and all her kids for sure
Okay,
benefit
so
from
did
that.
you know that when Donald Trump got into office the first time, the only person who saved the Affordable Care Act was John McCain, who is no longer with us? So what do you think is going to happen now that Donald Trump, is in office again?
I don't know.
Real quick,
It's kind of
it was
scary to
John
think about it.
McCain. Real quick, John McCain, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski.
Yes, sorry. He came in, he voted no, and everybody thought like it had like gasped in the audience and things like that. But essentially, yeah. Do you know, like, so what do you think is going to happen when these people get into office and they're going to try to rip away medications from? Is your sister Republican, may I ask? Or like MAGA, should I say?
Not for freaking long, buddy. Telling you what, and nobody I know is going to be for much longer. I'm about to open some eyes, friend.
Yeah, I think that if you like, because I really wanted to come up here to talk to how you can change people like perspective on things, especially like regarding these things. So if you want to talk to your sister, I feel like the best route to go to her and talk to her would be to appeal to her through like the things that she gets for her and her children, especially with like her medications or like any Medicare or anything like were to happen to her children, and show her the actual track record of these people, what they want to do to this country. Do you know anybody on Social Security or like veteran health care or anything like that? Because they want to make cuts to that too.
Absolutely. Well, of course, I know tons of veterans. Every year I lose friends from the military, from Army or Marine Corps.
Yeah, I was looking at
I
like
worked alongside the Army a lot.
I gotta pull the actual stats so I can have like intellectual honesty when I say it. But I was looking at like what they were like trying to cut today. I don't know if you can bring that up, Dan. Like what they were planning on, like Elon and like whatever were trying to like make cuts to these certain federal spending and whatnot, and one of them was heavily like veterans healthcare or something like that, or benefits, things like that.
So we fact checked that 2 days ago, and technically they didn't say it out loud, but given the number that they gave, and the thing that the group of things they were trying to cut, it would fall under that.
Okay.
Mim, do you remember what source we were looking at for that? The
Yeah,
119. Yes, the 119 million.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull up the source.
Because I want you to understand, like, if these things are going to affect people, like that are in your life, and especially, like, not even people in your life, these things affect people who are just citizens of our country and just people, that deserve basic rights. You should really look into these things and try to show them to people in your life, man.
Absolutely. I feel really, really dumb about not being up to date on some of these things and being trapped in that echo chamber.
Don't feel stupid because, like,
well, that's the hardest process, and like relearning life is like it's like you have to kind of humble yourself to let this even happen, and it's just kind of difficult to do. It's not easy, you know what I mean?
No,
to just
of course.
You're wrong is hard.
Of course, man. That's why you need to put your country over your party, and just like what I'm saying, it comes along of those lines, and don't feel stupid.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Of course, you can feel like like that you've been wronged and lied to and stuff like that. But the thing is that you're willing to learn. Misinformation is tough, especially when it's coming from people who are like political leaders in our country.
Thank you, Mim. She got the article we were looking for. Okay. 2/3 of federal spending is mandatory through programs including Social Security and Medicare, while discretionary spending is largely spent on defense. But as mentioned above, Musk and Ramaswamy said they'll target $500 billion in spending that is unauthorized by Congress, as well as programs they believe aren't in line with lawmakers' intentions. The biggest source of expired authorizations sits with healthcare for veterans, which costs $119 billion in fiscal 2024, according to the CBO. However, Musk and Ramaswamy didn't single out veterans healthcare as a place where they'd seek the cut. Instead, they listed the following areas: the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which receives $535 million a year, international organizations that receive $1.5 billion, and Planned Parenthood and what they describe as progressive groups that receive $300 million. So $300 million, $535 million doesn't even make a billion, but let's call it a billion, $2.5 billion, and they're looking at $500 billion in unauthorized spending. The largest expired authorization is $119 billion for Veterans Affairs. So like the stuff they pointed out.
Name's Dan?
I'm sorry?
Is your name Dan?
Yeah.
Could you tell me real quick, like top 3 like sources you use to look up information?
Turn off the lights.
Top 3 things that what?
like top 3 things you'll go to for sources to look up like information that you believe is reality?
Okay, so the best sources for reporting, I would say, are Reuters, Associated Press, and BBC. But
BBC,
any of
Reuters.
any of these sources, right? CBS, CNN, that might have a little slant in terms of the way the pundits interpret the news. They'll still link back to the government website where they're getting this information. So right here, this is CBS. A lot of people will say that CBS is right wing, or excuse me, left wing media or whatever. But literally, they link back to all their sources. So right here, 2/3 of federal spending is mandatory through programs including Social Security and Medicare. This link right here leads back to Treasury.gov, right? And then over here, the biggest source of expired authorization sits with healthcare for veterans, which is 119 billion. This links back to CBO. So a lot of these articles link back to government documents, which we should. That's a primary source, right? The government's sources for these numbers is a primary source. So if you find an article where you're not sure about the source, like, oh, I don't know how I feel about CNN, trace back where they're getting the info, and then you can read it directly from there. So, for example, over here, where were we? This is BBC, right? And I've already said BBC is a good source for news. But if you saw this, right, where they're debunking the claim that Trump said 13,000 killers came in under Biden. If you saw this, you're like, well, yeah, but BBC could be lying. They link back right here to the direct letter, and so you could read the letter directly. Now, obviously, that takes more time.
Okay, so it's a little bit about due diligence then, not just going to the first source, but checking the source of that source that you found the information.
Yeah.
So tracking it back to its original place.
No, you don't always have to do this. Once you have a trusted source, you don't always have to do that. But that's how you determine if a source is trustworthy, you know?
Someone said media literacy is pretty important.
It is.
Okay,
yeah. It is. Yeah. The hardest part I have with these things of when I try to like show people these things, Dan, is like I'll show them these sources, and then I'll trace it back to the government website, and I'll tell them like how they can find these sources, and then they'll be like, the government is lying to you, and then it just gets to the point where they're just so like cooked. I don't know what to do, man.
Clint, I've used that excuse before as well, and just cut people off from like even hearing a discussion out because I was so played by like my beliefs, my thought was locked in totally, like totally didn't believe anything that was said positive about the left.
Quick shout out to Emmanuel for $1. In the biblical context, the right love to demonize LGBTQ plus community using misinterpretation of biblical verses. If guest gets the chance to research, the Bible never stated punishment for it, but more so was about actions done towards angels. Sorry for the spam laughing emoji.
Well, I'll respond to that by saying, like, I've shut down a lot of my true devout friends over their comments about like LGBTQ stances via they will respond to this verse in the Bible, and I don't know the name of it, but it's something about like you lay with a man lays with a man. I mean, a man and a woman lay together, and men don't lay with men or something like that. But I just point out the cherry picking of that. Like, literally, it says in the Bible you could beat your wife with a stick too. Like you could have slaves. There's so much stuff in the Bible.
It gives you instructions for how to beat your slaves. Like,
yes, exactly. And so, like, to cherry pick certain things to like, I've never been about that. I've been pretty logical when it comes to my belief and faith. Certain things you just kind of got to look past when it comes to the Bible. Like, we don't have slaves anymore. It was okay in that time. Half the world was a slave, to debts or just being owned by another person. One way or another, over half the world were slaves forever. Only in modern times have we made it past that. But, there's still a lot of slavery still going on today that we haven't taken care of.
I'm not like a expert on the Bible, but considering like a lot of people vote based on like LGBTQ rights for like their religion base, I would say the best thing for you to do is go back and trace through all these things that you say. Why are like exactly what you just said? Like, why are you cherry picking what you think is right and what you think isn't wrong when you can show them all these things that biblically say that these things are right for you to do, but we currently don't do them, So if you want to vote based solely on like your religion and things like that, when you say that these things are wrong, that they're doing all these things, the best course for you is to show them the information on why they're wrong, and then get them to really think about like their morality of why they think this way.
Agreed.
All right. Well,
I appreciate you, man.
An amazing conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop out of here.
All right. Thank you so much for coming up, Quinn.
Yeah, of course. You have a great day.
You as well. Chris. I think you are the. I don't know, how do I phrase this? I don't think I've ever had a guest.
Hey, thank you, Quinn. It was nice to meet you. Sorry I didn't say something before you left. I didn't even realize that you were about to leave. I wasn't even paying attention.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I think you are the guest. You are the longest. How do I say the sentence, chat? I've never had a guest.
Live guest.
I've never had a guest join the live for this long. Okay, I was trying to avoid.
How long has it been?
Damn, how long has it been? Oh, let me see. I think I can check.
I want you to know that this has caused me anxiety and actual physical pain, but I am happy that it happened at the same time. But it's going to be a difficult process for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, the whole worldview shattering. It is a difficult process. It'll take like a long time to process. Carpenter Chris, duration 2 hours and 50 minutes, almost 3 hours.
Well, I hope you get some good clips out of it, bud. It was really nice to meet you and good to talk to you and everything. I'm really happy that you let me in the live and everything. I think it was a godsend. I really feel blessed that I got to open my eyes a little bit and have a new outlook on life and reality itself. Really do appreciate it. It's a big deal, man. I mean that.
Thank you so much. Kristen really wants to say something to you, I think, real quick before you drop.
Oh, hi, Dan.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. So I'm a Republican too, Chris, that voted for Kamala Harris.
Oh.
I did vote for him in 2020. After Donald Trump won this election, my family reached out to me and basically cut me off because I did vote for Kamala Harris. I was completely disowned by my entire family. For being, a trans individual. It took me a long time to accept the fact that the facts are the facts. This man is who he is. I didn't want to accept, the facts for what they were. I didn't want to accept the fact that, this man is a rapist. He has known history of essaying women. I didn't want to listen to the stories. I didn't want to listen to the facts. Up until the insurrection on the Capitol, after that, I started doing deep diving research on this man. And I knew for a fact that I would never, ever, ever vote for him again. Chris, I give you so much props for coming up into this panel and being so open-minded. It's refreshing. It's so amazing, to see another Republican actually listen. A MAGA, well, now former MAGA, to be listening. Major kudos. Can we get some W's in the chat for Chris? Seriously.
Honestly, all of the W's should go to Mr. Dan here for really, really being just like excruciatingly respectful to me. The first person I've ever talked to from the opposing side that showed me respect. So really the props has got to go to Dan.
We can have props all around. So yeah,
and you kind of creeped up on me. I've watched you for 3 to 5 minutes, probably a dozen times, and just kind of passed you off.
The wall just got 10 feet taller.
But finally, man, when you caught me at the right time, dude, with that lie counter, just the perfect way, and it just struck me. I was like, I gotta hear this out. And then going through all 77 of them, I thought maybe I'd be able to prove you wrong on half of them when we started. I really did. I was confident. I was like, I'm gonna prove half of these at least were bias from him. No, you easily, put me in my place, and I respect you for that, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean,
also, Dan, I just wanted to let you know that I'm getting so close.
For your financial
Thank you for the fireworks user. Thank you so much.
I'm getting so close to hitting 1,000 followers.
Chat, y'all know what to do.
Close. Chat, please. Also, I uploaded a video today. It's like a voiceover, first ever like voiceover thing that I've ever done. So if anyone is interested, it's a lengthy one, like almost 8 minutes, but it does talk about healthcare, and how Donald Trump has a concept of healthcare. So if anyone is interested, please go check it out. I think it's at least one of the best videos that I've uploaded on any account so far. So please check it out. I think it's really good and very, very informational. So if anyone is
thank you so much for the blooming ribbon. Thank you so much, Ashlyn. Poseidon, thank you for the marvelous confettis to Chris. Okay, yeah, so
Yeah,
thank you, Emmanuel, for $1. Guest be magnified, major W. Yes, W's all around, props all around, follows all around. I love all of you. Kristen, thank you for coming up.
Dan, we should make
thank you. Thank you so much for having me up, Dan. I greatly appreciate you.
Of course. You're always welcome.
We should get some type of number in the chat for a goal for like conversions over the next quarter.
You're muffled.
Quarter one, like
you're
how
muffled.
many people are we gonna convert?
You're muffled.
Sorry, my finger was probably over the mic. Is it better now?
Yeah, way better.
It's just the way I was holding it. I was saying let's get the chat to decide. Like, pick a number for us. Like, let's have a goal for conversions. I might be your 8th. You have almost 10. Let's do 100. Why can't we get 100 in quarter one?
Man,
let's get 1,000 in the first year.
Conversions are tough, man.
Come on, we got to set a goal. We could do this. I think we could do this together.
I was hoping. My plan was after Kamala Harris wins the election, we were gonna have like a MAGA support group, right? For MAGAs trying to rejoin society. But now we got 4 more years. It's tough. But listen, we'll try. We'll keep trying. I'll keep doing the same thing. I'll keep matching energy. I'll keep being patient. I'll keep pulling up the sources in real time.
It's just a solid motive to have. You should put a little scoreboard in the background, and then every time you just add, keep a tally for each one, and we get to watch it grow when we tune into your lives.
I think you just when you start watching more, I think you'll see that there's a reason people are giving you W's. There's a reason people are giving you props. You are a diamond in the rough. Most people that are Trump supporters, I'm not saying most people that lean right or whatever, most people that are Trump supporters do not care about the reality around them, do not care about facts, and will not admit they're wrong. And so it really is refreshing. And that's why I said we've been live 90 nights. And for someone coming in, being a Trump supporter and converting, being under 10, bro, I've been trying. I've been trying. It is tough. So
listen, okay, so I agree with your. Okay, can I say something on that before you continue? Because I agree with you.
Yeah.
But if you break it down to a process of if you just could, you creep in by proving. The kicker is proving that you're just wrong. Like the lies being a blatant, easy way. Like if you could just make someone think and question, why are you lying? You got to. It's breaking through that barrier of what's a lie and what's truth. Okay, I can see how difficult this is. Okay, I'm starting to understand. When I start to break it down to myself, I'm like, oh, actually, that's going to be really freaking hard.
It's hard, man. It's hard. But yeah, listen, we'll keep trying. I wanted to say this while Kristen was still here, but really quick, we did this for Thanksgiving.
Kind of method to it.
I'm sorry.
I just was mumbling to myself. Like, there's got to be some kind of method to it. My mind's going on trying to figure out a curriculum.
You're deep in thought.
For transitioning people.
Yeah, so really quick, we did this for Thanksgiving. We're gonna do the same thing for Christmas. If you're one of the many Americans that aren't spending the holidays with family, we're gonna be live on Christmas, just hanging out. We're not gonna talk about politics. No politics. We're gonna talk about pretty much anything but politics. So mark it on your calendars. You all have a family for Christmas, even if your family is not about that life. So yeah. I just made that decision. That we did do it for Thanksgiving. I didn't know if I was going to do it for Christmas, but I made that decision. We're going to do it. I'll let you all know when we're going to go live. And yeah, it should be fun. Chris, I love you. thank you so much.
I'm spending this Christmas totally alone, so count me in on that live for sure.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. I appreciate you for coming up. This has been, God. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had more entertaining lives, but this is probably my favorite live. This really was like a very euphoric live, especially after the election. And I just really appreciate you and your open mindedness. The fact that you now recognize like how dire half the
Yeah.
country's situation is with their living in a different reality, and you want to do something about it. Like it's restored a lot of our faith in in our fellow Americans. So
I
yeah,
think it's a direct connection to my honor as a man and patriot that if I don't do something about it, I'm being a coward. Honestly, I truly believe that. If I don't do everything I can about this, I am a coward. I truly believe that. So I'm gonna be putting a lot into it. Trust me. I'm gonna be worrying about my viewers. I'm gonna go live as soon as I possibly can. Hey, what's the like? How do you do that? How do you become where you can go live and stuff? I can't do that.
you need 1,000 followers.
Oh, that's it. You just need 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000 followers, and
I think I'm like 200 away from that. I was before I joined.
oh well, you might have hit it by now.
Dude, that'd be crazy. I'll be on live talking shit all day tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, look, now that you have information, you could join. You could join in people's.
I'm a real
You could join as a guest in people's lives and start.
brother. I was
debunking-
born in the South.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm definitely going to. I can't wait to do that. But I was raised in the South. I lived in 8 different states throughout the Southeast, everywhere. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was stationed in North Carolina, very Republican state. Most of the people I've always been around my whole life are Republican. I never questioned it. So it's very interesting to me to how I'm going to get to these people, because I know a lot of people, man. I have hundreds of people on my list in my head like that I got to spend time like actually worrying about that I want to get to first. Personal friends and family, like that's important to me first, and then starting that trickle down and growing it. But it is very important. I appreciate what you're doing, man, and I hope you start to get to more people. We'll do it together. We're going to do 100 in the first quarter. I've decided we're going to put a little whiteboard behind you there, and you're going to have a clock counter. Post you a clip on each one, and then have them numbered. Transition number, whatever. You can call me 9, and then we'll go on to 100.
Let's
So we
hope
can
TikTok doesn't
celebrate
get
the
banned
100.
first. Let's hope TikTok doesn't get banned first. But yeah. Chat's saying your account is private, so you have to approve their request. You probably have way more than 1,000 by now.
Okay. Do I need to make that public? Is it easier to make it public for people? So
You should
I don't have
probably,
to
if you're going
accept
live, you
them?
should probably make it public. Yeah.
Noted.
This is like Iron Man finding Captain America. Yeah, I mean, having like a former Trump supporter to join the lives is definitely going to be great. Move to YouTube, Dan. Yeah, we made for those that are still here, I should have mentioned this when we had 1,200 viewers. I always forget to plug stuff. We made a YouTube, we made a Twitch, we made a Kick, we made a Blue Sky. We made all the things. They're all in my link tree in my bio. If you want to start following there for when for if and when TikTok does go down. We do want to keep trying to do these lives. Maybe they won't work out. I don't know. But either way, Chris, it's been a pleasure. You're always welcome back. I definitely want to have more conversations with you, especially about like just the differences between like
I'll
liberal
happily
and
get
conservative
to my
politics.
chores, man. I'm hungry. I kind of skipped dinner talking to you, so.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I will let you go. Have a great night, and yeah, thanks again.
Hey, I really appreciate you, brother. Until next time. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. We'll see you.
Bye. Whew. Thank you all for joining me today. This has been a this has been a good live. And guests like that, as rare as they are part of the reason that we keep doing these. So